First, though, it is every parent's worst nightmare. In 2017, Colin and Mandy Mackey's world changed forever when their 18-year-old son, Greg, died in his university halls in Edinburgh.
A toxicology report concluded he had the equivalent of 5 ecstasy tablets, but no trace of alcohol in his system. Colin and Mandy insist that their son was spiked, but to this day, nobody has been held responsible.
So as the government considers changes to how spiking is dealt with in law, Colin and Mandy join us to share their story and their fight for change. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. I'm so sorry for your loss. Greg sounds like an extraordinary young man. Mandy, tell us a little bit about him. What were his hopes and dreams? What was his expectation for life?
He loved life, really enjoyed life. He was a people person. He worked hard, he studied hard, he got into the university where he was going to do TV and media. And he literally had his life scoped out for himself. He had a place where, when he finished university, he was going on to Australia. He'd had a place in Australia. So his future was actually good, and he was so positive. It was positive about everything. Very positive person.
You say his future was good, he was a super positive person, but all that was taken away from him. What happened that night?
Well, we got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was 2 police officers that called us, come knocking on the door. And they just come in and said, your son's died from a drugs overdose. Oh, no. You know, Greg had nothing to do with drugs. Greg has never had anything to do with drugs.
And he wasn't a big drinker either.
No.
He wasn't really massively into partying at all.
No, he was a very cautious person. He'd already done some filming on depression, and he was actually, at the time, he was doing studies and putting a programme together on drugs. So he was aware of everything. You know, he would never take his eye off the ball. So for them to say that it was a drugs overdose, plus he was into his sports, he was into speedway, he was into boxing, he was into fitness. It was something that never actually was part of our life.
No.
You know, it never entered our life. So for someone to come and tell me something like that, you know, it's, no, you've got this wrong.
Right.
You know, there's no way, there's no way.
And Colin, so when you responded like that to the police, understandably, and you say, look, we know our son, we know exactly who he is, we know this isn't a possibility, what did they say to you?
Not very much, to be honest. They were very slow to react. Basically, on the day they came and said what happened to Greg, and they left us. They, with no family liaison officer or anybody to turn to at all, there was nobody really talking to us. And we had to sort of chase the police to find out more and more information, which is quite challenging in itself, because obviously we want to know what had happened. And we just kept pushing. And even in the day when we were finally allowed to see Greg's body, the police on the day turned up late for that as well. So, yeah, so for a very challenging time, you know, we just felt really let down, and that's why we've moved on to where we are now, which is campaigning.
Yeah. So your understanding, your belief is that he was spiked. When you suggested that to the police, what was their reaction? Because the toxicology report was that he had the equivalent to 5 ecstasy tablets in his blood. No alcohol, but there was an awful lot of ecstasy in there, wasn't there?
Yes. Well, what had happened was the statements they had got, because they had interviewed, I think it was about 74 people in the halls of residence, and they said that he had been drinking and he had taken the tablets himself. So I was going, nah, no, definitely not. He wouldn't do that. You know your child. And obviously when the toxicology report came through and it said that he hadn't been drinking and there was equivalent of 5 ecstasy tablets, then it was a totally different ballgame. And we said, look, we told you, you know, if he had been drinking, and he, you know, every child could possibly take one. But they even turned around and said that even people that mess with drugs would never have taken that many They know that that's the dangerous limit.
So was there an investigation that took place? Was anybody ever charged? Was anybody ever suspected?
No one was ever charged with it. Yes, they did have an investigation, which was quite a long investigation, to be honest. But at the end of it, the police officer that we were dealing with said he'd got it down to 2 suspects, in his opinion, but he didn't have enough evidence to get it over the line. So he could never prove, you know, that it actually happened, and eventually the Procurator Fiscal just dropped the case and said, that's it, that's as far as we can go. And unless they get any new evidence from anybody, then the case is closed as far as they're concerned.
How have you managed with, I mean, it's a number of years ago now, but how have you managed with that, with the way that the investigation is handled and where you are now with what happened to your son?
The more we've looked into drink spiking and spiking in general, we can understand, you know, go back 7 years, it wasn't known, the knowledge wasn't known as much as it is now because of putting it out there. When we wanted someone to help us, we went to a lot of organisations and no one was interested. They said they couldn't help us in any which way. They didn't deal with anything to do with spiking. So we looked deeply into it and we thought, this is a black hole. No one's dealing, everything around the issue is being covered. You've got your drinks, you've got your rape and all that. But no one was dealing with the main problem, the main source. And obviously, we're victims as well. You know, our family have been victims to it. It's a knock-on effect. You don't want someone else to go through what you went through. I do sit back and wonder how many parents out there have sat back and honestly believed that their child did not take a drugs overdose. But because the police have just said it is, they've left it at that.
Yeah. You've set up a charity, Spike Aware.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
We founded it because, as Mandy said there, we didn't want people going through it.
Yeah.
We looked for something, there was nobody there, so we said, we've got to change this and we want to raise awareness of it and get changes in the law, because the law wasn't substantial enough. So, first of all, we've spent the last 6-7 years advising people how to protect themselves, etc. And also just to give them the confidence to know that there's someone there they could call up, they can talk to. You know, it can be the parents, it can be the victims, but we're there and we understand what they're going through, be it a victim or the parent. It now looks like we're going to have this standalone law. It's going through in England and Wales, and we're moving on to that, which is a good thing. I think it's good for the victims. It's going to give them more confidence to come forward and report. I think it's also good for the police because it's going to give them a clear direction, because the law as it stood went back to 1861.
Oh, wow.
You know, which so we've kind of brought it forward now so that spiking is going to be a standalone offence. We're still campaigning.
You want some changes to it, though, because the law as it stands, you don't feel is quite addressing all the issues.
We found some, well, Colin was reading through it and he found a slight loophole. And the loophole, once it was mentioned when he was in for the witness, a few of the lawyers looked at it and thought, yeah, you're right here, there is a loophole. So there's a wee loophole in it that we need to be filled in, because there's no point of it if that loophole's, you know, if Colin, not a lawyer or a politician, can find it, you know, a lawyer's going to find it easy enough, and that's your way out.
Yeah, and it's to be tougher on the perpetrator.
That's what it is, yes, because currently there's this loophole where you've got to show intent.
Yes.
And this is the gap, and we have discussions with Joe Robertson MP, and he put forward an amendment last week to try and strengthen up the wording of the bill, which unfortunately was voted down and is now going to go to the House of Lords. So we're not giving up, and between us and other MPs there was cross-party support for it, and it was only the government who voted it down. So we're wanting to strengthen it up because we want change, we want it to be a standalone offence, and we feel that's the only way forward. Is we need to start seeing people being prosecuted.
Sure.
Because once there's prosecutions, that is going to be the ultimate deterrent. And we have to have this so it's easy for the police, victims and the perpetrators to understand what is going to happen to them if they spike a drink.
It's a really clear message, and you really hope that they hear it as well. Thank you both for coming in. I just wonder, Mandy, you know, my youngest is about to sort of leave school and go to university. There'll be loads of our viewers who are thinking about that, and we often think it's university when they're suddenly independent, looking after yourself. What's your advice to the young people who are about to have a lovely summer as well, or off to university next year, with regards to keeping themselves safe when it comes to this?
Well, what we always say too, because we go into the schools at a very young age, so we're educating at a young age, and we want it educated right the way through the schools into. So it's going to be something they're going to grow up with. That's the way we want it. And you're the only person that can look after yourself, protect yourself, look after your friends, and trust no one. If it tastes funny, ditch it. You know, there is stuff out there, there's covers out there and all that where you can protect yourself. You can put over your drink, because if a glass is left uncovered, that's where they're going to go. Perpetrator's going to go to something that is easy. So, but be aware, look after each other. Something out of the ordinary, you know, talk up, come forward. And we really need the males to come forward as well, because it's not a girl thing. It's not just women and girls. It is right across the board, any age. Our youngest has been 11, our oldest has been 82, and it's done for so many different reasons now.
82.
Wow.
And just finally, I would like to say sort of, if you see it happening, call it out, report it.
Yes.
And if it's one of your friends, to tell them, say, why are you doing that? Make it socially unacceptable. You know, if it's your friend who's going to do it, or someone you just know at college or wherever, call it out there and then and say, if you're going to be like that, you're not part of our group.
It's not fun, it's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
We're out of time, but thank you both for joining us and coming in. I think it's a really timely message and really clear as well. I really hope you get that amendment to the law, particularly. That feels like it sort of needs to happen, doesn't it? We did speak to the police in Scotland. This is what they said. Every report is taken seriously, with extensive inquiries carried out. Where perpetrators are identified, they are dealt with swiftly and robustly. We would encourage anyone who believes they have had their drink spiked or been assaulted in this way to contact the police in Scotland on 111 or use the emergency number 999. Much to your message, if you think you've been spiked, then tell somebody about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Thank you,
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
They're the 10 and 11-year-olds who've taken matters into their own hands to improve what's on their school lunch menu.
Yeah, after researching why school dinner uptake was low, organising taste testings to encourage others to try new foods and growing their own veg, they've been nominated for a Jamie Oliver Good School Food Award in recognition of their impressive commitment.
The Asset Arrows, that is a good name, and I need to find out exactly who came up with it. Join us now, alongside Deputy CEO of the Asset Trust, Jackie Bircham. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Jackie, let's start with you. How did this come about?
So Asset is 15 schools.
Yes.
Every school elected 2 children who would represent all children, pupil voice. And we bring them all together half-termly, and we ask them to really think about what they want to change, what's important in the world, and what they want to lead. So there's 30 of them all together, and they call themselves the Asset Arrows.
It's a brilliant name. Where did you came up with the name, didn't you? Did it take you very long? Did you have all different names before that?
Yeah, we had a few, but I thought Asset Arrow was really good because it incorporated our logo.
It's a brilliant idea.
And you're moving forward, surging forward,
Yeah.
making a difference.
Yes.
Jackie, what didn't always start with food, though? It wasn't initially just food that you were charging the kids with thinking about and talking about, was it?
No, we spent some time thinking about how they feel about the world, what's fair, what's not fair. So we played a game where you go over this side of the room if you think something's fair, you go over that side of the room if it's unfair. So we said, footballers get paid more than firefighters, and they were like, definitely unfair. Children
Depends if you're a footballer, though.
Well, yes, there was a little bit of debate. Not everybody went all on one side, some potential footballers. And things like you know, there are children who have to pay for education in other countries. Definitely unfair. And then we asked the question, adults get to pick what children eat. And they went one way, then they went the other way, and then this wonderful debate started. And really what came out of it was they said, well, you know, we might eat chocolate all the time, we might eat sweets all the time, but it's important that adults make sure that we know what's good for us, that we get a good education around food, that we choose foods that are right for the planet, and adults need to kind of step up and make sure the choices are there and that we know what we're choosing.
Brilliant.
So that was why we did it.
So, Logan, Emma, why did you want to choose? Why did you want to change your school lunches?
I wanted to change my school lunches personally because I thought there wasn't enough variety as such, and I felt that other people were the same, so I thought I'd try and opt in and help them.
That's a great idea. And Emma, were they healthy enough for you, your school lunches?
Yes, they were healthy enough, but sometimes they were a little bit unhealthy, so I thought maybe we can make them a lot more healthy.
Nice. So, Guitars, you guys set about trying to change the menu and come up with new things. What sort of things have you started putting on it?
Well, there's these Nigerian balls, and they Jack said they look like chicken.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
Nigerian balls that look like chicken?
But what are they made of?
It's like bread or something. I don't know. They're very sweet and it's like the perfect amount. It's very nice. So yeah, it's like Nigerian puffs or whatever.
Brilliant. So you started trying to find different foods from the different cultures of all the kids that were in the schools and their families and stuff. So what have you enjoyed about that then, Jack? So other than the Nigerian puffs, anything else?
I've enjoyed. What have I enjoyed? That's a lot. I've enjoyed making the foods with people from different cultures because, like, in this country, it's like mainly English people around, and like I just feel like having other people from other countries and like cultures and stuff coming here and cooking with us is just very nice.
Yeah.
Makes you understand everybody better,
sure.
doesn't it? Faith and Elsie, how did you choose what recipes went into the book? Because I'm guessing you've got loads. Did you taste test them all? What did you do? How did you choose it?
So we let our school decide because this is what they want. So we done like a survey sort of thing to see what people like. Yeah. And then we asked people to make their own recipes that is personal to them and their families, and they think it's healthy and enjoyable to everybody else. So we decided that, and then people just gave us their ideas and recipes and we put them in a cookbook.
Lovely. Elsie, what recipe did you come up with, or can you remember?
I came up with some cheese scones.
Nice. Who likes the cheese scones? Yeah.
Yes, favourite.
What is a cheese scone?
It's a cheesy scone, Jack. It's not compared to a Nigerian puff, but trust me, cheese scone, you've got to try some of Elsie's cheese scones. They're sensational.
Jack, have you been growing vegetables as well at your school?
I mean, I can't really remember vegetables,
Right.
but I remember...
When you say you can't remember vegetables?
I can't... We have been, like, growing stuff.
Oh, nice, OK.
What have you been growing?
I kind of forgot, but I think we've grown a few potatoes and stuff like that.
That's good.
Just basic stuff and, like, weeding and stuff.
Do you enjoy that part of it?
Love it.
Getting stuck in, getting your hands dirty?
It's so fun.
Yeah. For sure. And Lila and Jada, I know that you guys chose the name, or Lila, you chose the name, but you've been doing some blind tasting as well, as we were talking about. What sort of things have you been blind tasting, and what sort of difference does that make to some of the other kids, just in terms of whether they want to try stuff or not?
So we're gonna add like some new food things on our school menu. But before we do that, we're gonna do the blindfold tasting. So we're gonna have all the year groups from our school, except for year 6. So we're gonna give them 3 different types of foods, so they can try it before they can have what's on the menu.
But it's not like a bush tucker trial that Ant and Dec would make you eat, though, is it? This is nice tasting stuff.
It's a bit like that. Oh,
Is it?
no grubs.
And Olivia and Esther, you've cooked community meals as well. Do parents get to try the food too?
They don't actually, but we do. We make it at schools,
Right.
so that the children can try too.
Oh, excellent. And what's been the favourite at your school?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. What about you,
Lasagna.
Olivia? Have you got a favourite that you've discovered?
Probably the like the cheesy bean wrap.
Cheesy bean wrap. There's some amazing things. So obviously, you guys know you got nominated, Jack. What did it feel like when you found out that
Few
Jamie
days
Oliver
ago.
had nominated you for this award?
Felt all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Did it?
It felt good.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, you guys have been working really, really hard.
You have. And actually, the exciting news doesn't stop there. We've got some more exciting news to share with you.
So obviously you got nominated for this year's Good School Food Leader category for Jamie Oliver's Good School Food Awards. Well, we can announce that you haven't just been nominated, you've won. Congratulations.
You guys, well done.
Here we go. There's Good School Food Leader Award.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
There you
here you go.
go.
This is your award.
That's for you.
Would you like to hold it, Jack?
And that's not all. Our friends at Merlin have kindly provided you all of you, including all the members of the Asset Arrows who
I think
can't be
there's
with
30
us
of you, is there,
today.
in total?
Entry to a Merlin attraction of your choice. So you get to go to a theme park and have a super duper fun day out.
How does that sound?
Good?
So good.
Yeah.
So good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh my God. Do you like roller coasters?
Yeah.
Okay, well, buckle up.
Do you
We're gonna
like
be doing
roller
this.
coasters more than Nigerian puff puffs? No, it's a hard choice.
Hard choice. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. Congratulations, you guys.
Yes.
You're winners.
You're doing an amazing job,
You
Jackie.
are.
Thank you for
Thank
bringing
you.
them all in
Thank
as
you
well,
so
and the
much.
parents and all the assistants as well. There you go. You're going to all fight over who's going to take the trophy home.
Take the spoon home.
But it's been lovely to see you all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
8-year-old Toby was born in a rare condition, leaving him with the use of just one arm. But despite being fitted with a prosthetic, he felt like it was holding him back.
Yeah, determined to enjoy his hobbies to the full, the Lego mad lad set his heart on a more functional arm with a unique design. And he's here alongside his mum, Deborah, and Cole. Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
everyone.
Thank you for coming in.
Good to
Thoughts
see
were.
you guys.
Now, Deborah, tell us about finding out about that your baby when it was inside you.
I was 20 weeks pregnant, the first scan with him, and they told us it was horrible.
Unbelievable. So what happened then? What was the condition?
It's called Brachydactyly, and it's just basically the molecules and what have you that make up his arm just didn't grow. They didn't
So
kick
did
in
you
and-
know instantly something was wrong? Because the nurse walked out of the room, didn't she?
She
when you
walked
was having
out of the room,
scan?
left us for about 15 minutes just going, what's happening with our baby? And they came back in, took us off to a separate room. And then when they came in, they weren't very nice with how they dealt with us, offered us a termination initially.
Oh, my goodness.
It's
to which
incredible
we were
how
like,
quickly you must become an expert in something that 15 minutes ago you knew nothing about, right? You just you go down that deep dive.
Thank heavens for Google.
Right, exactly. And then you see quite quickly, I say, see light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, it's a condition, but you can live with it.
Yeah, and he's just done amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We were put in touch with various charities and that offered us support and guidance and met other children that had similar limb differences to Toby, so we were able to learn from them.
And you've got 2 daughters already. I think one's 26 and one's 28 at the moment.
Yeah, Alex and Chloe, yeah.
So you knew you wanted to bring Toby up in exactly the same way.
Yes.
No different, is it?
Yeah, he had to learn his own way of doing things, so we've never held him back. Anything he's wanted to have a go at, off you go, boy, you crack on.
And Toby, you obviously don't remember anything about this, but so have you always been just very active and fearless and just going for it?
Give anything a go, won't you, mate?
What's your favourite sport to do, Toby? What do you love
Football.
doing?
Yeah.
Bit of football. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, Toby, tell us a little bit about your arm, because you brought your other arms here when you were, was that one when you were a baby?
That one was.
That one there's
one.
the Blams when you were a baby.
This one.
Yeah. And then this other one with the Union Jacks on it. But
Yep.
was that one you weren't that comfortable with that one? Was it a bit sore? Okay. So tell us about the moment that you saw.
and that one was actually heavy as well.
Yeah, that one's heavy.
Yeah. When I first had it, but now it's not.
That's okay. Well, you're a big boy now, that's why.
Yeah.
So tell us about that time you saw a man in the supermarket. Was that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually in Tesco's.
Yeah.
In Tesco's.
They'll be happy about that. And what happened? What was he up to, that guy? What was he... Did he just have a robotic arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you say to your mummy and daddy then? Like,
He said, Dad, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
So what happened after that? I mean, how did this brilliant Lego arm come about?
Well,
Do you want to tell them about when we went down to Portsmouth?
Mum, you've done enough. You tell them, Mum.
So he's been visiting the Limb Enablement Centre in Portsmouth since he was 6 months old, and they've always been let Toby be fully involved with coming up with what he wants, what he needs, what he wants to use his arms for.
So nice.
Showed him a book with this design in it, and that was it. Second he saw it, didn't look any further.
We got quarter of the way through, and it was like, I want that one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So did you know Lego was going to have Lego on it to start with?
No.
Ah, amazing.
No, and Toby didn't know until the day it was finished.
No.
When we picked it up. Dan, who built it, said to Carl, he said, "Look, what do you think if I actually incorporate some Lego into it?" And he was like, "Oh my God, yes." Like, we're going to keep it as a surprise. It's going to be a secret. So Toby had no clue.
That's amazing.
So
Toby, what was that feeling like when you saw your arm for the very first time?
amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
And can you show us how you use your arm with the Lego? Can you stick some of the Lego on?
Can you grab some?
It's literally like the actual board that you can actually stick it on.
That's what he's done.
That's your arm?
He's put it down so that it actually fits in there.
Look at it. Look, it sticks on. That's so good. I absolutely love it. When did you realise, Deborah, that he was so resilient and he was just one of those kids who would do anything and get involved in anything?
Literally from day one, nothing had stopped. Even from the first time he held a bottle, he was using his little arm, and we just knew straight away that he's going to be fine. The amount of heart attacks this child's given me, though.
Really?
We'd go to the park.
That is so cool.
And you've got another piece in the top as well, haven't you?
He's got an extra bit.
Brilliant.
And Carl, what have you noticed day to day? What is the difference by having this arm?
So he's able to do a lot more. He's only had it for the last 3 weeks. He's had it a month, but the first week he managed to break it. As all kids
Already.
So I sort of... No,
it was Dad. I was
he come out of school literally absolutely sobbing, "Dad, I've broke it." And, like, the head teacher's come running over, Mrs Carter, by the way.
Hello, Mrs Carter.
Yeah, Mr. Carter.
And he's like, she's like, "What's happened? What's he done?" I was like, "No, he's fine. He's just broken it." I said, "But I'll get my toolkit out when I get home and I'll fix it."
Brilliant.
So I managed to fix that, and then we had to take it back because the harness is like a nylon material. So when he's hot and sweaty and he's moving, it started to break the skin.
Yeah.
So we took it back, and on the same day we took it back, they had it all fixed, redone, and we was home with it within a couple of hours.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Oh, I
And
love
so
it.
It's amazing what they can accomplish, isn't it?
So good.
But your resilience and your bravery and, and your whole family, what a team.
What a team. I heard there's a guitar coming out soon. Are you going to be learning how to play the guitar?
He's going to be starting lessons at school.
He's going to be a rock star next, isn't he?
What happens next?
Don't forget Mum and Dad.
You are going to grow out of that arm sometime, young man. So is the next stage the fully robotic arm?
Well, that would be nice. They have said that if Toby is using this one, finding the benefit from that, then his occupational therapist is going to start doing tests and seeing what he's going to be able to.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
that's definitely the aim. So hopefully within the next sort of year or so, we might be able to...
Yeah.
So the
Have one
youngest,
for
the
him.
youngest at the moment, we've been
actually
told
10.
is 10.
10 at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I think
he's
she was on the show, wasn't she?
I think so.
she came on the show with that.
And so he's hoping to be the next one at 9.
Brilliant.
That's your aim, isn't it?
Yeah,
what
you'd be
he's
the
aiming
youngest
It
one.
does, however, have to incorporate Lego, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, listen, we've been in touch with the kind people at Legoland Windsor, and they've offered you, your mum and your dad a lovely trip with a hotel. It's in here, so you can go to Legoland. You're going to stay overnight.
How cool
It's
is
going to be incredible. And not only that,
They're
we've
good.
also got a little goodie bag for you as well. It's got a few Lego bits in.
Drop that. It's like, drop that.
And they've given you that for free.
There you go.
Would you
For
say?
free.
Would you say? Would you say?
What do you say to Legoland?
Say,
Thank you.
wow.
Oh,
Pleasure.
so much. Thank
So
you.
lovely
you're more
talking
than
to
welcome.
you.
Thank you for coming on and showing us how you use your arm.
Thanks, Toby. You're a proper inspiration, all of you.
Maybe you could come on and play the guitar.
Yes.
You know, you're really good. You can come and show us what you've got.
You have to learn the This Morning theme tune.
And if you want, I'll sing with you.
Whoa. Let's not be too hasty about that too.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you
you
so
for
much.
having
And
us.
hopefully that's made
Thank you so
Toby's
much for
day.
visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, you may think it's a disease you no longer need to worry about, but last week, a grandmother from South Yorkshire tragically lost her life after she was unknowingly infected with rabies whilst on holiday in Morocco.
Yvonne Ford from Barnsley received just a small scratch from a stray puppy while she was on holiday back in February, but only became ill 2 weeks ago, at which point the infection was too severe to treat.
Now her family are speaking out in the hope of preventing this from happening to others. In a statement, Yvonne's daughter said, "Our family is still processing this unimaginable loss. We never thought something like this could happen to someone we love. Please take animal bites seriously. Vaccinate your pets and educate those around you."
Well, look, we're joined by Dr. Zoe to discuss this. It's always extraordinary, this, Zoe, because rabies isn't here in the UK and it always feels so far away. And then you suddenly hear the tragic case of Yvonne. It's really shocking.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us go on holiday to places like Morocco, Tunisia, Turkey, where these are countries that are considered high risk for rabies. And, you know, a case like this, it's a reminder to all of us, isn't it, that rabies hasn't gone away, whilst it has here and in Western Europe. And when we're travelling further afield, we need to take precautions where necessary, and we need to know what to do if we do come into contact with an animal.
So can you just tell us a little bit about what rabies is?
Yeah, so it's a viral infection that infects the central nervous system, so that's the brain and the spinal cord. And it's got a long incubation period. So like we just said, you know, typically from being bitten or scratched or even licked, if you've got a wound, your skin is broken and you're licked, so it travels in the saliva, or even actually licking mucous membranes, so your mouth, your eyes, it can be transmitted from an animal. Typically, it takes 2 to 3 months before symptoms start, but it can take up to a year. And once symptoms start, it really is untreatable. So, you know, it's in 99.9% of cases, once it actually reaches your central nervous system and symptoms start,
It's too late.
Yeah.
it's too late. So it's really important that people are aware that if they're in a country, you know, before you go on holiday, check which countries you're at risk of rabies. For people who are going to be in those countries for a prolonged period of time, if you're going to be working with animals, you know, if you're going to be going running, cycling, where you're at increased risk of coming into contact with an animal, then it is worth considering getting what we call pre-prophylaxis, so getting a series of rabies vaccinations before you go, which you can pay privately for. But the main thing, even if you have had that or if you haven't, if you are scratched by an animal, bitten by an animal in one of these countries, then you must seek immediate attention. Wash it with soap and water straight away, wash the wound and seek immediate attention. Even if you're flying home the next day, you must seek immediate attention in the country where you are and start a course of what we call post-exposure prophylaxis. So that's a series of injections. If you do that treatment, you're almost definitely going to be okay, but you can't wait to see if symptoms develop. You've got to assume the worst and get treated.
And is that even if it's a minor scratch, anything even minor?
Yeah, anything that breaks the skin, which means that saliva can get into the body, then you have to take action. And I think, you know, we can all imagine if it's a little puppy and the animal an animal can be infected with rabies and not showing any signs. Or sometimes in the early stages of their infection, they might even be more affectionate. They feel a bit off and, you know, they can be domestic animals, or they can be strays. So I think any animal in any of these countries, even the slightest bit of scratch, if the skin is broken or if they've licked a mucous membrane, you've just got to take it seriously.
And are there 2 different types of rabies as well?
Yes, there are. So about 80% of cases are what's termed furious rabies. So this is kind of, I think, the stereotypical, what most of us will think of with rabies, where once the infection is set into the nervous system, people can have hallucinations, be very sort of overactive, sort of excitable, and people may have heard of it, they become this fear of water.
Yes, we were talking about it.
Hydrophobia. And that's because, if we think about how this disease transmits through the saliva. So people, you know, it's really, towards the end of the illness, it is a really devastating illness. People can lose the ability
to swallow. So that's what, but you know, that's what the virus wants, because that means you produce more saliva, and the saliva's not going down, the saliva's coming out. So viruses want to multiply and spread. So that's why, you know, the virus wants that to happen to the body. So therefore people can become phobic of water and even air, because eventually it affects the respiratory system and the heart. So, you know, gusts of wind or that can be very distressing for people as well. So that's 80% of cases. The other 20% is called paralytic rabies, and that's where this paralysis sets in, usually from the site of the bite, and spreads very slowly, and people eventually just, you know, become paralysed and
they're
go
both
into a coma
deadly,
and die. They're both deadly.
It's got an extraordinary mortality rate if it's left untreated.
99.9%. So there's these very, very rare cases, usually in clinical studies, where they're trying, you know, people are put into an induced coma and they're injecting things straight into the spinal cord to treat it. But yeah, once symptoms set in, once it reaches, so the site of the bite, so we was talking about how it can have this prolonged incubation period. What determines that partly is the severity of the bite, the amount of virus, you know, how much virus actually gets in, but also the location of the bite. So if you're bitten on the foot, it's likely to take longer to get to the brain than if you're bitten on the hand, for example. So yes, it's once it's set in, once it's actually reached the brain, you can no longer treat it, and 99.9% of people will die.
I've got just a vague recollection of a sort of a drama in the 80s, which was about rabies, that you watched on television, and the animals, sort of like you said, they're very docile, but then they get very aggressive as well. And I can't remember what the drama was, or whether it was even a public information advert that was out there, because rabies was still here. Let's talk about the reality here in the UK. The two cases, I think the previous case to Yvonne's was back in 2018.
2018, yeah.
And that was somebody who'd been in...
Somebody who'd been in Morocco. And I think that was a bite. It was a man. And I believe that actually this same animal had bitten him and bitten a child. The child received the post-exposure prophylaxis treatment and the man didn't. And he, again, several months later, came back to the UK, thought he was fine, and several months later developed symptoms. And
so it's one of the reasons we have such stringent quarantine rules for animals coming into the UK, isn't it? As frustrating as that might be for pet owners.
Yeah, so we've been rabies-free here in the UK now since 1922. People may be aware of bats carrying a rabies-like virus. I think it's not actually rabies, but it's very similar. So with the exception of some bats, all animals now in the UK, rabies doesn't exist. And, you know, this is, I think the sad thing is, there are about 60,000 deaths globally, predominantly in Asia, Africa. About 50% of cases are children as well.
Right.
But this is 100% preventable disease with vaccinations of both animals and people and post-exposure. If everybody received treatment, then the deaths are preventable. And in order to eliminate rabies in a particular area, if 70% or more of dogs are vaccinated, then that wipes out rabies and prevents people from dying for it. So the World Health Organization have this initiative called 0 by 30, where they're aiming for, in certain rural areas, to have wiped out rabies by 2030. I think they've been set back by the pandemic, but that's what they're aiming for. So it's about vaccination, because it is 100% preventable.
Yeah. So, Dr. Zoe, we've got viewers sitting at home watching, and they know that they're travelling to countries where rabies is prevalent over the summer. What would be your advice, and would you recommend getting vaccinated?
So I think, first of all, there's a website called Travel Health Pro, where you can find out the country that you're going to, whether it's low risk, moderate risk, high risk. If you are going somewhere that's high risk and you're going to be running, cycling, dealing with animals, it's worth getting the vaccination. It's 3 vaccinations that you need several weeks before you travel. So you should start looking into all of this.
Does it make you
about
feel
8
poorly
weeks before you go? No, well, you know, like most vaccinations, you can have a mild symptoms, soreness at the site, a bit of a mild fever. For other people who don't, you know, if you're going to Morocco for a week, like a typical, or Tunisia or Turkey, most people don't actually get vaccinations before they go. But just be aware of animals, stay clear of animals, even if they're pets, just stay clear. And if you have any interaction, a bite, a scratch, or even a lick, just seek advice locally and take the advice that you're given. Don't wait till you come home. I've heard of people thinking, you know, wait till you come home. The sooner the better. But even if you're hearing this and you think, oh, I was bitten a month ago, go and seek help now. It's never too late, but the sooner the better.
Great stuff.
Thank
Zoe, thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, it's been 8 years since 72 people tragically lost their lives in the devastating Grenfell Tower fire.
On Saturday, thousands gathered in West London to mark the anniversary as survivors and bereaved relatives continue their fight for justice.
In the early hours of the 14th of June 2017, a fire tore through Grenfell Tower, a 24-storey block of flats in West London, with hundreds of residents still inside.
The smoke was extremely thick, black. Every time I opened the door and tried to breathe, it was just a gagging sensation.
Fuelled by the highly flammable cladding on the building's exterior, the blaze killed 72 people, including 18 children.
There's an internal Arconic email where they say the grade of the panel following the test today is an F, which is just uncategorizable, ungradable, and then just the word oops. They learned that once you bent this product into a certain shape, you were going to get this terrible result in a fire.
An official inquiry painted a damning picture of missed warnings, cost-cutting, and a building system riddled with failures. Yet despite the evidence, no one has ever been convicted for the failings that led to the fire. And 8 years on, the survivors and families of the bereaved are still fighting for justice. Well, we're joined now by survivor Marcio Gomez, who tragically lost his unborn son Logan as a result of the fire. And he's alongside journalist Peter Apps, who has written over 1,000 articles on the tragedy. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Marcio, can you explain, you lived at Grenfell Tower for how long?
I was a baby to the tower, so I was there for 10 years.
10 years, so it was home. Just tell us a little bit about Grenfell Tower and what it was like living there.
It was a beautiful place. It had its own micro-community, if you like, because you get to meet a lot of... I had young kids at the time, and you get to meet a lot of the parents going to school, waiting for the lifts, and you have fantastic conversation. And it was just its own little micro-community. Everybody knew each other. Everybody played in the corridor. Our doors were generally always open for the kids to run in and out.
We've just passed on Saturday the anniversary of a day that nobody ever wanted to go through, but of course we don't want to forget. I wonder what that was like for you.
The anniversary?
Yeah.
It was very emotional, especially this year because of Angela Rayner's decision to bring down the tower. So it was the last time we're going to see the tower as how it is at the moment. So it was a very emotional time for us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the day when it actually happened? And you were quite high up on the tower, weren't you? When did you realise there was something wrong?
Yeah, so I lived on the 21st floor with my family. It was just a normal day. It was really hot. The day was really, really hot. We decided to go out for dinner as a family with a group of friends. Because it was a school night, went home a little bit earlier, put the kids to sleep. And then I was up for a little bit later. And I think I just went to bed just after midnight that day. And then I was woken at 1:15 in the morning with my neighbour banging on our door, which I'm forever grateful, because if it wasn't for that, we would have been sleeping. So that's generally how we woke up that morning.
So then you stayed in your flat and the fire brigade were all told that the stay put rule, which is essentially you stay there for 2 hours. The fire had started much lower down from a fridge or freezer. And you're in your flat and you start getting towels and wetting them because you're thinking to yourself, just in case, you've got 2 daughters, you had a pregnant wife at the time. When did you realise that it was actually really dangerous and you needed to start moving against the advice of the firefighters?
Probably about an hour into it, I would say.
Right.
When I really understood how bad it was.
Yeah.
You know, we've had fires in the tower before.
Yeah.
It's not generally a problem. You know, it's contained. And then sometimes even in the morning going, oh, we had a fire last night. And that's that kind of level it was. Of course, that night, it was very different. So when I first opened the door to my neighbour, the lights were on, couldn't really see much going on. Thought, OK, normal fire, phoned the 999, and it was, you know, stay put, you're going to be safe there, that kind of thing. which is fine, and that's the advice we kind of went with. Probably about an hour into it, when I tried to go into my neighbour's house, I opened the door the first time, and it was pitch black. The lights were on, but it was
thick
pitch
smoke,
black.
right, too?
It was really thick.
Like that thick, dirty black smoke that kind of feels as though you're choking.
It was awful. It was something I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
I think there's a clip where I opened the door, and I did that shortly after, because nobody was going to believe me if I said to them it was pitch black.
You filmed it, didn't you?
I did film it, yeah. And as soon as you breathe that in, you were just gagging. It was a horrific smell. I mean, it was something I can never really describe that well. And that was when I knew this is really bad.
I think you phoned the fire brigade 5 times before finally they said, right, you need to leave.
Well, I think it was the fourth time when they said, oh, we've changed our protocol policy. But even at that point, I explained, look, I've got a 7-month, a pregnant wife at 7 months pregnant, my 2 kids, one asthmatic as well, and I've got my neighbour and her child with me. You know, we need some help here. Although they said, yes, the stay put policy has been revoked, we're still sending somebody up to come and get you, and that's kind of what I was waiting for.
And in the end, you decided you couldn't wait any longer. You needed to get out. What was that like, Marcio, for you and the family, trying to get from the 21st floor of a tower that was then fully ablaze and getting through the smoke?
Couldn't see anything.
And what was going on around you?
Well, initially, we tried twice before and failed for different reasons. First, it was my neighbour couldn't go through it because the first time they opened the door and saw the pitch black and the smoke, you know, and it's quite difficult going into the unknown. The second time, it was my wife at the time who panicked as well, and quite rightly.
Yeah.
Being 7 months pregnant, she knew that there was going to be problems. And then when we were forced to leave was the third attempt of the fifth 999 call, where it just so happens I was on the call with the London Fire Brigade, and as I looked into my bedroom, the fire came through our window, and it set the curtains, the Moses basket, basically my room alight, and I only had time to really just close the door. And at that point I said, we've got to go, it's now or never. We couldn't stay in the flat anymore.
And there was so much confusion as well at that time. You couldn't see anything. The girls were, you were supposed to be behind the girls and you were taking them down, and then you kind of lost them within the smoke. When you finally get to the bottom of the tower, you see each other again, you get taken in an ambulance, but your wife, who is 7 months pregnant and asthmatic too, right? They have to make a terrible decision at that point.
Yeah. At the hospital, they came to me and said, came to me and said they had to make that decision.
Yeah.
And because my wife's obviously alive, they had to go with her.
They had to make a terrible choice.
Which I said, yes, that's the choice.
It's heartbreaking to hear what you've been through, you and all those other families. Peter, the most painful thing about all of it is it was preventable.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that should never have happened. I think it wasn't just preventable, it was something that I think some of the companies and people involved in this story knew was going to happen, because they were allowing a product onto the market that had this very obvious and very serious risk attached to it, and they were allowing that to be installed on the homes of people like Marcio and his family.
Why were they allowing that to happen?
So the material that was used to clad Grenfell Tower is something called aluminium composite material. So it's 2 thin sheets of aluminium held together with a plastic called polyethylene. And polyethylene is chemically very similar to petrol. So you're talking about, it's not combustible on the outside, but in the middle, you're effectively putting petrol cans on the walls of people's homes. It looks quite sleek, it looks metallic, but it's plastic and it burns very ferociously. The thing about that product, though, is it's quite cheap. We use it to make road signs and that sort of thing, and it's a cheap product, which means that subcontractors can keep their profit margins high by buying the cheapest material possible and keeping a profit margin up. And so that's why it's favoured, not just on Grenfell Tower, but on hundreds of other tower blocks around the UK and thousands around the world because it looks nice, it looks expensive, but it's cheap.
But also, Peter, not by that much. Like, I think they were trying to save £40 a flat or something like that. Isn't it something? It's a ridiculous amount of money.
There's a more fire retardant version of the cladding, which where the polyethylene is diluted with non-combustible.
Yeah.
And that's what is actually supposed to be used on higher risk buildings. That would have cost £2 to £3 per square metre more.
It's just...
and so over the whole job, I think that's sort of about £5,000 to £7,000. This is a £10 million job. So you're talking about a fractional expense being saved.
Yeah. When I watched the documentary as well, I also felt so much sympathy as well towards the firefighters who weren't given enough information and they were going into this burning building, but they didn't really fully understand what was going on. And then they were telling everybody to stay put.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say that on the part of the institution of the London Fire Brigade, there was a huge failure.
Yeah.
And they've acknowledged this now
Yeah.
in the years before the Grenfell Tower fire, because there was awareness in the industry that this was a risk, but there was also awareness within the fire brigade that there were cladding materials being used in London that were going to undermine this stay put strategy. We'd had a fire in 2009 that killed 6 people, again, all of whom were told to stay put, and who could have survived if they weren't. And the fire brigade and the government should have addressed that and said, well, OK, a fire might get out of control again. Let's work out how to get everyone out safely.
Yeah.
You know, it's a difficult thing to do, but it's possible. But that question was just never asked.
The London Fire Brigade Commission, Andy Rose, says on the night of the fire, the brigade faced the most formidable challenge that any fire service in the UK has confronted in living memory. In 2019, the brigade accepted every recommendation from the Grenfell Tower Inquiry Phase 1 report and have since implemented significant changes to how we operate. So it feels like they have, clearly they have reacted to this. This is what Arconic said. Our thoughts remain with all those affected, their families and friends. Arconic Architectural Products, along with others, has made financial contributions to settlements for those impacted. We support all efforts to strengthen regulatory oversight in the construction industry. No one has been held responsible, Marcia, for what happened, for the loss of life, for you losing your unborn child. What do you think needs to happen?
I think they need to be held accountable. I think you've seen from the documentary and the inquiry, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They knew the products was unsafe, but yet they put profit ahead of people's safety. You've seen from the emails where I think the one you just showed was oops at the end of it. I think there was another email as well which said, if a fire was to occur, potentially it could be 60 or 70 people could die. And in this occasion, it was 72.
Yeah.
So they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, they need to face the consequences.
Peter, where are we with the cladding on Grenfell? Because I know that there was big moves in terms of taking that cladding down off a number of buildings around the UK. Has that happened to most of the tower blocks that have it on?
So the specific type of cladding that was on Grenfell, the ACMPE stuff, a lot of that has been taken off, yeah. So not all of it, but a lot of it. But there's thousands and thousands of other buildings, anything up to 10,000, we don't even know how many, which have other types of combustible materials, some of which are less dangerous, some of which are almost as dangerous as what was on Grenfell. And globally, Arconic are not just a UK company, they're multinational. They've sold this all over the world. We had a fire in Dubai just last weekend where it was exactly the same material. I think one of the things to dwell on is the organisation that knows where this was sold. The organisation knows where it was sold all over the world is Arconic, and the other suppliers of these materials. They haven't been held to account. You mentioned there that they've made a financial contribution. It is tiny compared to the levels of profits that they've made since the fire. And I really think that's where accountability needs to focus.
Yeah. Marcia, they've said that they've got to demolish the tower because it's not safe.
Yeah.
What would you like to see there? What would you like to see done?
Well, I don't agree with that.
You don't?
I don't agree with Angela's decision.
Yeah.
On a number of points. One being that she didn't consult the bereaved, the survivors.
Yeah.
Although she claims she had, but she hasn't, because we've spoken together and nobody had any input into that decision. Yeah. And we have to also remember that it's not just a tower. We're not just talking about a tower. I mean, I was fortunate enough that my son was born in the hospital and I was able to bury him whole. but my neighbours didn't make it out. They were cremated in the tower. The tower is a tombstone as well, so we have to be very sensitive to that situation. Now, I'm not naive. I understand that there's cost involved, which is generally what they look at. The tower is fine structurally. It's not going to fall down. Nobody's in danger. But they can do something different rather than just knocking it all the way down. And in my mind, it's almost like get it outside and then out of mind, and it will just help them move forward. But for us, we'll never move forward. I live it 365 days a year. So it needs to be a beacon of change, and hopefully it will be a catalyst of change.
Well, as Kat and I was saying, we pass it every day. It's
Every
such a
single day.
sort of iconic building, and you see the cladding on the side now, and it's always there for all of us as a
You
reminder.
don't forget, yeah.
No, we won't forget. The government have said, the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government said, we will deliver the change needed so this can never happen again by taking decisive action to speed up remediation through the Remediation Acceleration Plan and delivering the recommendations of the Grenfell Tower inquiry. I'd imagine you and the other residents just want to be a part of the decision now. Angela Rayner has announced that it has to come down, of what happens next with the site.
Yeah, there's a memorial commission, which is underway at the moment, has been for a number of years. And then that will hopefully dictate what, through the bereaved and the survivors, what will happen in the future in terms of a memorial site, including the community. Sure. You know, we're all in it together, really. But for me, one of the main things is the height. And whatever memorial is in there, there has to be a height, and you need to be able to see it. As you mentioned, you see it when you drive into work, and everybody sees it from all sorts of angles. So
that's a really important point. Thank you both for joining us today, and thank you for sharing that. It's not easy, Marcio. Both Marcio and Peter have contributed to the new Netflix documentary Grenfell Uncovered, which you can watch from Friday.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. It's World Continence Week this week, and currently 1.5 million children in the UK are living with a bowel or bladder condition.
Yes, so Dancing on Ice star Molly Pearce has teamed up with 8-year-old Katie Thurling, both of whom live with stoma bags, to help break the stigma and encourage others to speak out. The pair join us now alongside Katie's mum Kelly to share their stories. Good morning to all of you.
Hello. What glamorous couch this
Very,
is.
very glamorous couch. Lovely to see you, Molly. Katie, thank you for coming in. It's really lovely to see you on an important day like today. Can you tell us a little bit about your stoma bag? I think it's got a name, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called? Diamond. Why is it called Diamond?
Well, Diamond is a girl's best friend, and I just honestly love diamonds. And I've just named it Diamond because it's like a diamond to me, because it helps me, and people call someone a diamond if they're really helpful, and this was really helpful to me.
Yeah, I think my wife might use that as a reason for me to get more diamonds. They're really helpful.
She's got a big birthday coming up. You better do good.
That's amazing. I love it. So tell us a little bit about life before you had Diamond. What was it like?
It was really bad because I couldn't really be in school, and I had to be in hospital a lot more because I was born with a thing that would make me really poorly, and I just missed out on a lot of learning, and I thought that my friends would have someone else to play with and grow out of playing with me.
But you were also very brave, because if anybody has to have an operation at all, I would be, and I know you would be. You'd be scared. Did you feel scared before you had it?
No, I was like very calm and all right, because the doctors were very nice and they were very gentle with what they were doing. They knew what to do, and they were stripped careful and gentle and did it all right.
They did do it all right. How does it feel having the bag?
Well, I don't really feel anything at all. It just feels like nothing's there.
Yeah. No, but you are a bit of a superstar in your class, though, aren't you? Because I've heard that you did a PowerPoint I wouldn't even know how to do that. A PowerPoint presentation of like 10 different... What did you do? You told them all about it, right?
Yeah, I explained every detail of a stoma and how it helps people who's been poorly and who has one now. And I was happy that they asked me questions, because whenever people ask me questions, it makes me feel happy because they want to learn, and a lot of my friends wanted to learn and ask me a lot of questions.
It's brilliant that you're so happy to share, because it changes everything. And I know that you've used your voice and your experience to help other people as well, because the importance of having bathrooms for people like you that have stomas, and public bathrooms that are set up as well. What have you been able to do?
So I've recorded some videos and say, hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing these toilets, and been reviewing them. And every disabled toilet I've been showing if they had a hook shelf or mirror, and that's what a stoma-friendly toilet needs.
A hook, shelf and a mirror.
Yeah. And when it has them, you get to know like everything that you need, and you get to like put stuff like, you wouldn't put baby stuff on the floor, so why else should you put stoma stuff on the floor?
When she explains it like that, it's simple.
Makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. So hold on, how did you meet Molly? Like, how did this girl action happen?
So basically, ever since I started watching Traitors, she was on it then, and ever since then, I started sending lots of good luck videos and hoping she'd do really good. And then soon she got on Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, that's when we
and
connected.
I started always sending pictures of, videos of a song. And I would put my own song of what they did. Like, sometimes I'd send pictures and sometimes I'd send songs of my...
So every week, me and Colin would get either a photo or a video with support from Katie, and it was so nice. We used to, like, run to each other's dressing rooms, be like, it's posted, it's up. Yeah, and you decorated your bag, didn't you? Decorated diamonds, so it was really lovely.
But Molly, that must be amazing for you as well. That must be a really amazing feeling to know.
It is
that
lovely.
You're connecting.
It's so lovely, but at Katie's age, I would not have had half the confidence she did. So I think it's incredible that you're spreading so much awareness, and especially in schools, because you're not only educating the children, you're also educating teachers as well, because a lot of them are unaware of the impact it might have or the facilities you might need. So you're doing really incredible things. So thank you from me as well.
And tell us about Eric, because you teamed up together with this charity to try and help bring awareness to what you both have to deal with, and lots of other people as well.
Yeah, so they support families, well, children and families with bowel and bladder conditions, and I think we sometimes forget the impact it can have on the families as well. Like, I know it was really difficult for my parents. It's hard to see your child so unwell, and it's not always possible to get in touch with the NHS or to contact a nurse for advice. So having Eric's been so helpful. I know to you, they've...
Definitely.
Do you feel the same, Kelly?
100%. You know, general practitioners are fabulous, but they don't have as much knowledge as your bowel and colorectal specialists. And, you know, as much as you have wonderful stoma nurses out there, they're not 24/7. And Eric, even though they're not 24/7, you know, you can drop them an email at any point as well, and their support is invaluable.
Do you identify what Molly was saying? She was saying it was difficult for her parents to see her being ill, and you must have experienced that for Katie.
100%, and it's that you'll always have a mum guilt. You know, am I going to be resented later for potentially having scars on her little body? Is she going to be thankful? But it's the best thing we've done. You know, you're a new child, aren't you?
Yeah.
Happy, healthy, and love life.
But she's had some comments in public as well, though, hasn't she, that haven't necessarily been... I mean, I'm sure she's dealt with them like only she would, but what sort of things has she faced if you've been in public?
People being disapproving of the fact she has her bag out on show. We've had children at a shopping centre asking their mum, oh, what's that girl got a bag on her tummy? And the response, it's disgusting, you don't need to know about things like that. To which Katie replied, what is disgusting is my life before this bag, thank you, and walked off.
Good for you.
But she does see, now it's more, rather than seeing it as ignorance, you see it as an opportunity to educate people, don't you? And that's how she is. It's all about educating people. You know, she loves watching football at Ellen Road, and she will be straight in.
Your Leeds fan?
She is.
Oh, wow, hold on. Big season next season.
You were getting on before, weren't you?
But she'll be straight in talking to the team there about, you know, thank you for sorting your bathrooms out, and it's the first part of call.
And it's not just the practicality of life, it's also enjoying life and thriving. Like, you can swim, you can trampoline, you can do all these amazing things.
Yeah, and Kate is a lover of music, concerts, you know, the child, her first concert.
You can't sing that.
4-year-old. First concert at 4-year-old was Madness.
Really?
Yeah, she will fly through concerts now, and it's that case of the more things you can attend, the better, isn't it?
What do you love doing, Katie?
I love sending videos on how to be supportive with stomachs and everything that can help people who has a stomach, and say that it's not embarrassing to show your stomach for people who are very embarrassed to show it.
Yeah, we tell people, everyone goes to the toilet, we just do it a little bit differently. So why should we feel ashamed of that, eh?
You shouldn't.
The more you can talk to people, the better.
And you should, I mean, the importance of educating people means that you're here with us today.
Yes.
Where should you be today, Katie?
I should have been in a school trip at Edentown, but
What's Eden Town?
it's a place where you can go canoeing and paddleboarding too, and you can also do like lots of activities there, like climbing up mountains.
It sounds amazing.
Is it called Leeds Kayaking and Activities Sailing Activity Centre?
It's just Edentown. I'm not sure what else Edentown.
Well, maybe we could sort out Edentown to reach out and get you to come back on another day, because we've loved having you come in and be so amazing today alongside Molly and your mum as well. It would be amazing if they could reach out, I think.
Well, we have just found out that they have. And so you can go for a day and have a fun day out with everybody and just go and enjoy it. So you've been here, you've educated everybody, you've had a chat to us, met him, got your autograph.
For the teacher.
Who was it? Who was your teacher?
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs. Stringer,
you're
Incoming Mrs.
sorted.
Stringer. Sounds like she's got great taste.
And you can go kayaking too. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks, Molly. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You're amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you for
Thank
visiting
you.
our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Jamie Lee Arrow joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We have to watch some really difficult things, don't we, when we're doing this show? And I have to say, this is the most difficult thing I have ever watched because of the cruelty that was involved from your father to you during your childhood. I found it really, really distressing when you were just a little girl. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So when I grew up, I had my dad and my mum, and at my dad's house, it was like stepping into a horror movie. And my dad was very unpredictable. He could go from being the kindest, funniest, most charming dad to being this monster.
He had a fascination of the devil, didn't he? He was completely obsessed. How did that manifest itself, Jamie Lee? How did he express that fascination around you as a little girl?
So he often spoke about the devil and demons and such, and he always had these paintings and stuff all over the flat. And he was an artist himself, so he liked to draw the devil and demons and really scary pictures. And he always wanted me to believe that he wanted me to turn against God and instead worship the devil from a very young age.
And right from that early age, your mum and dad were split up. You lived with your mum, but you would go and see your dad too. But he'd make you watch horror movies. He'd tell you that faces were coming out of the wall. He taught you about voodoo dolls. It was really really traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could lay on the bed and in the darkness, and he would go like, "Do you see those faces all around us on the wall and the ceiling?" And I was very bullied when I was a child, and his solution to that was to give me a voodoo doll to use on my bullies. So that darkness was just so normal to me. It was my everyday life.
It's really interesting. So his girlfriend, Hella Christensen, came into your life. And I think you were really taken with her. When they first got together, it was a really lovely relationship and you were really drawn to her. She was a really lovely person. But it quite quickly turned, didn't it? How did that relationship deteriorate?
So when they first met, they were really nice to each other and I really liked her. I thought she was so beautiful and she was so funny. And she was not like the other girls he had introduced me to before. So I really started loving her, like, immediately. But they did meet at a mental institution, so they both had their problems.
Right.
And so that relationship turned very toxic very quickly, and they were not good for each other at all.
Your father eventually murdered her. How did you find out what had happened and that he was responsible?
So my mum actually sat me down after a long day of her being very sad and upset. And it was a very long process before she even told me. But when she sat me down, first I didn't want to hear it. I went like, no, don't tell me, Mum, I don't want to know, because I realised it was going to be something really awful and I want to protect myself. But then she went, like, ripping off a Band-Aid. She went, Helle is dead. And my first reaction to that was it Dad? And she went, yeah.
But you didn't fully understand the full brutality of the murder at that point. How old were you at that point when you first found out?
So I read the word cannibal on the newspapers like a few months after that, but I didn't know what cannibal meant.
Because you were about 9 years old?
Yeah. So I went and Googled it. But
So your mum protected you from the most gruesome details?
yeah,
She
she
told you
will
that-
not
that-
tell me that. I didn't go to school, I didn't go to shops, I didn't watch TV. Everything changed because she wanted
to protect you?
Yeah.
But then you saw a newspaper
Yeah.
with your father's picture and the word cannibal.
Yeah. So when I saw that, like, I froze. I didn't know what to do. Then I Googled the word cannibal, but it still didn't make sense to me. It was very hard, difficult words describing the word cannibal. But my mum went to me, please, Jamie, don't try to find out anything more because we are doing this to protect you. You don't want to find this out. So I actually didn't quite find out the whole story until my dad told me himself.
Yeah. Also, the reaction of other people. You must have been ostracised by friends and schoolmates and other people who knew the full story as well.
Yeah, so when I went back to school, like, all of my friends were acting differently towards me, and everyone was asking about the murder, about my dad. People were scared of me and my dad. So it really felt like I had been robbed of my identity after the murder.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in the documentary, you talk about the fact that you remained connected to your father and you sort of went and spent a lot of time with him through your teenage years, which were very troubled years for you as well. You were drinking a lot, you were taking a lot of drugs, and yet he was the only person that wasn't judging you. And he sort of, and that relationship, you probably got closer during that time.
Yeah.
With the trauma that you were dealing with. Do you think he was drawing on that to get you close to him?
Yeah, so he knew that my mum wasn't agreeing with my drug addiction and...
Which, as a mother yourself now, you can understand,
I
right?
understand, yes, definitely. Now I see everything from a whole new perspective. So my dad became the one I turned to because he was the only one that was accepting of my lifestyle. It wasn't judging me and was treating me the same way. So it was only natural for me to become closer to him.
Because he also wasn't in a prison. He was in a psychiatric ward.
Yeah.
So you could then go and visit him, and then you actually became closer and closer again for a short period of time.
Yeah. So I didn't see him for 2 years after the murder.
Yeah.
But then I was tricked into seeing him again. And when I first saw him, he was so normal, and he didn't even mention the murder. And when I started seeing him on my own, he slowly started brainwashing me into becoming like him. And he made himself my entire universe, basically.
You eventually, within that period, suddenly your relationship broke down because there was a moment when he became quite violent and aggressive towards you.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And so in the period when in the documentary, it's 4 years since you've seen him, he actually agrees to sit down with you and be interviewed regarding the murder and what he did to Helle Christensen. What was that like for you, Jamie Lee, sitting down in front of your father and him talking so calmly about the brutality of what he'd committed?
So because of the circumstances, it was a very special situation to be in with all of the cameras, and it was not the way I had imagined it to be when I sat down to talk to him. But it's hard, you know. I would always love my dad. I don't love what he did, but it's hard to sit there and watch someone so evil and try to talking to me and try not to feel the love for them and trying to remind myself that this person is not good for me. This person is not. I can't have him in my life. So it was very sad for me to sit there and talk to him and to watch him being that unwell.
I think that's one of the things that comes across from the documentary is just how manipulative he was of you from a very young age. You've now got a boy and a little girl of your own.
Yeah.
Will you see him again, do you think? And would you allow them to see him?
Never in a million years. I can't control what they do when they are grown, but as long as they are under my care, I will never, ever let them see him. I will never introduce that darkness to them.
It's an extraordinary thing, Jamie Lee, to hear you say, and it speaks to the power of a child's love for their parents, that you still love your father. You don't love what he did, but you still love your father, despite, as Kat described, the manipulation and the cruelty that he inflicted on you as a child, despite the graphic brutality of what he did, what that meant for your life, what you went through in your teenage years, that you still have that love there for the idea of who he was.
I believe it's pretty much impossible to stop loving your parents. And I know that now. He can do whatever in the world and I will keep loving him, but that doesn't mean he can be a part of my life, and that doesn't mean I agree anything that he's doing.
No.
And it's sad, and it's like I'm grieving on a live person because he might as well be dead.
I think it's indicative of the importance when you're a parent, if you have children, of just how powerful that bond is, and it needs to be nurtured and respected and loved, because that enduring love is extraordinary. We did reach out to your father for comment, but he hasn't responded. Jamie Lee, thank you for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is a remarkable documentary. It's not easy to watch, but
no, it really isn't.
Your calmness and your eloquence is just phenomenal within it. You can watch Evil Lives Here. The Killer Speaks on Discovery Plus. Right? Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. And our next guest, Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, is often spotted campaigning across the country, paddleboarding, falling in, bungee jumping, and of course, more importantly, getting a makeover on this very show.
He looks so debonair.
Very debonair.
Very debonair.
Got the same shoes.
Still got the shoes on. Still got his shoes on.
Excellent. But behind the politics is a very personal story. Ed has spent most of his life as a carer, first for his mum, then for his grandmother, and now for his 17-year-old son, John.
And he's not doing it alone, of course. His wife, Emily, who lives with multiple sclerosis, is right by his side. And as Ed releases a brand new book, this book here, Why I Care and Why Care Matters, the couple join us on the sofa. Thank you both for coming in and joining us this morning. It's lovely to meet you. We often meet your husband, but it's always nice to meet the power behind behind the brains, as it were. It's an extraordinary book, Ed, and a lovely sort of tribute to your relationship with your son, John. Will you tell us a little bit about John and what his journey's been like?
Yeah, he is undiagnosed. We don't know actually what's wrong with him, but it's a neurological problem. It's in his brain. So he doesn't have as much white matter as you and I. Something called the cerebellum at the back of his brain is smaller. And what that means is he finds walking really difficult and moving generally quite difficult. He finds communication and speaking very difficult.
It's affected his muscles and his balance. So we first thought it was cerebral palsy. And so it's similar. When you look at it, you think, oh, he's got cerebral palsy, but he doesn't have it.
And because it's undiagnosed, you're on this sort of journey, both with the people in the health service and other carers. And but we just accepted it, you know. He's our wonderful boy, and we've tried to make him or help him become as independent as possible, strong as possible. So he does tricycling and what other things?
Well, he loves riding his tricycle. He goes rock climbing. which is wonderful.
Sailing, he loves.
Sailing, yes, tying up the ropes. I don't know how much of the actual catching the wind he does, but yes, he does that. He loves swimming.
Swimming it.
Yeah,
So like his dad, he's got an adventurous spirit.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
adrenaline junkie. He is. You know, if it's wet, the wetter the better for him, and the splashier the better.
Amazing.
I think what the book also really draws attention to is the need for carers and actually how they are the unsung heroes of our country. So often there are people who are caring for people that you don't even know, and they're actually the people who keep the country going, both emotionally and economically.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the book, there are stories of 4 other carers because I wanted to tell the stories of others because I think there's 6-7 million people, they reckon, out there looking after loved ones. Many of your viewers will be looking after relatives, and that's what it's about.
Yes, I mean, we're not different from anybody else. It's a very ordinary story in many ways of being a carer. But part of the issue about being a carer is it's physically and emotionally exhausting. So by the end of the day, you just collapse into bed. You're not going to, when people send out forms from the council asking you about you're too tired to fill in the forms. So you never hear the carer's voice because they're just simply too tired caring. And there are so many people, and often I think about older people who are looking after older spouses, and they've got their own health problems, and they've got to look after their spouse. And so we're in no way different from them. In many ways,
Well, we're quite lucky.
We're a lot better.
We're lucky.
Yes, we're very fortunate.
And, you know, because I'm in politics, I want to make sure that I can be the voice of many carers out there who are exhausted and who have forgotten. And the point you make, Kat, that we actually rely on carers.
Really?
So if family carers said, well, I'm not looking after my loved one, the social care, the NHS would collapse, literally collapse.
Yeah.
So one of my views is if we can support family carers just a little bit more, that would help so many of the problems that we have.
And you are a leader of a major political party in this country. How do you do that? How do you find the resources, the infrastructure to do that? Because we can see how complicated it is for anybody that's in power to manage budgets.
You mean for the national solutions or for our own family?
Well, national solutions, I'd say first, because I understand that everybody has individual demands as well.
Exactly. I mean, nationally, we just want to keep talking about it because if you look over the years, politicians and governments have kicked the can down the road. They've not faced up to it. They've not known what the solutions are. But we've actually had 25 reviews, commissions, inquiries, reports since 1997 about what we need to do, but no one's actually done it. So, and the current government's set up another commission, but not to report for 3 years and not to implement any recommendations it may have for another 10 years. So that's just, again, delaying.
Down the road.
And so I want to, whether it's writing the book or coming on this morning or whatever it may be, try to make sure it's in the political discussion and not forgotten about as it so often is.
I think it's so important as well to reach all the different generations as well, because your mum was very poorly. She had cancer. You were looking after her. At what age? You were a teenager, weren't you?
Yeah, well, my dad had died when I was 4.
Yeah.
Mum became terminally ill when I was about 12 and became progressively worse, and then she died when I was 15.
Yeah.
So my brothers and I, with my nana and granddad, we were the carers for my mum.
And there's a whole generation of young people as well doing this great job too.
Oh, there are, well, nearly 1 million young carers, we reckon?
Yes. Yes. They don't see themselves as carers at all.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even know the term young carer when I was a kid looking after my mum. But they miss out on education, on lots of life opportunities. And if we can support them, I think we can just be better as a country. And these 2 wonderful young carers have written in the book. And, you know, sometimes caring can be really tough. So there's a wonderful woman called Hannah who writes about how she looked after her mum when she was just an infant, really, in primary school. And her mum was abusive to her.
Oh.
So
lonely as well.
So isolated.
Yeah.
And that's why I always think I've been lucky because, you know, I knew my mum and dad loved me, even though they left us early. And I was in a loving family. We're a loving family with our son. But there are many people who either don't have that family support, or they don't have. We're lucky financially. We know we can put food on the table. But often, you find people who are caring after loved ones, they're really struggling.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah.
I think you've both been very honest as well, Emily, about the future for John and how you set him up, because that would be for any parent who has a child who needs a lot of care. The sort of the fear and the worry is what happens down the line for him, and unfortunately that's the reality of it, isn't it?
It is, and I suppose part of the issue about being a carer is that a lot of your time is spent on just dealing with the immediate, and you aren't great at looking to the future and just managing week by week. But you can have hopes and dreams, and you can put down all sorts of, I'm a solicitor professionally, but I could have trusts and everything, all sorts of ideas like that. But really, unless we have a caring community, nothing is going to work, because you can't force people to love people. You can't force people to care. But what you can do is create a community that cares, that people actually acknowledge carers and see the importance of carers, and enable people, allow people to get on with caring. So when he's older, he's living on his own, there is that support and that acknowledgement that the people they're caring for are important, and the people who are doing the caring are important. That's the only solution I can see. But
it's such a pertinent point as well, though. And as you've done, Ed, with the book, and you alongside him, and the Party Political broadcast that really cut through where we saw you with John and your family life, is doing exactly that. Thank you for popping in today and sharing your thoughts.
Incredible team.
Ed's book, Why I Care and Why Care Matters, is out now. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. They're the former anti-corruption police officers who in 2015 left their jobs to spend more time with their families.
But Emma Coles and Sam Hutchison quickly found that they missed the adrenaline rush of their former jobs.
And after setting up their own detective agency to catch out cheating partners 5 years ago, the spy mums are in high demand, and they join us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, spy mums, you didn't really like that title first of all, but now you kind of like it, right?
We've come to love it, yes.
Okay.
We were on the show before, and
a couple of years back.
we advertised in the paper as well. And the title was Spy Mums. And at the time, we were like, oh, it's a little bit cringy, because obviously we run a professional company, and it kind of made it into a little bit of a joke. So we weren't keen at first, but we have come to love it now.
We've embraced it. Yeah, you deliver the results. I mean,
yeah, and it's true.
Yeah, it's not frivolous. So how did you set up the agency?
So we both did many, many years in the police, and we worked in covert roles. So we really loved the undercover stuff, sneaking around, following people, spying on people in the police. We ended in the anti-corruption intelligence unit. So we were basically investigating secretly corrupt police officers. And because we weren't well known to anybody in the police, we became really, really close. There were only a few of us in the office. So we became really good friends then, both got pregnant at the same time, had our babies within a few months of each other. And then they started going to school, and we were kind of thinking, oh,
that is
what
awful,
do we do
that
now?
stage of being like, not knowing what to do anymore, like, you know, and not having that adrenaline rush that we'd been used to for so many years. And we thought, well, how can we home our skills in? All the stuff we've learned, all the covert tactics, everything we'd learned over the years, and our dealings with the members of the public, and thought, you know, we can do a good job here.
Yeah.
And
So
it's developed.
So, Sam, you started off sort of setting up the agency, and then offering, what sort of services do you offer, and how much would it cost to have you guys investigate somebody or something for a client?
Well, we do a range of services. We deal with infidelity on quite a large scale. We also deal with catfishing, a lot of fraud cases and scamming. I mean, we've got one particular one at the moment, which is really quite scary, because we used to say to people, like, know who you're talking to, you know, and they've entered into a relationship and they've invested emotionally. And we used to say, well, have a video chat with the person, so at least you know you can see a face at the end of the call and you know you're talking to a real human being and not somebody else. But this has progressed now, and we're dealing with a client now who has had that video call with the person, but it's not a person, it's a bot. And it's AI.
So
has been
AI
used.
is now making things even harder.
Yeah. And he's had a conversation and believed that conversation with that person. That person has stolen the identity of somebody else completely who had no knowledge of this and has been talking to him now as a bot, effectively, in that AI world, and it's so scary.
So you realise how vulnerable lots of older people are, or people that sort of, you know, are looking for sort of company, whatever that might be. But in order to do that, what would I have to pay if I had somebody that I wanted you to go and investigate?
Well, our prices range, don't they,
Yeah, so for surveillance, for instance, if you suspected that your partner was cheating, it could be anything from, say, £250 for a really simple case. We've had some clients paying like £20,000, depending on the level of information they need and the resources that we need to actually find out the information. I mean, it might be that somebody only cheats once a month. And obviously, if we're going to follow them, it might take a month to actually catch them, or they might do it on the first day.
We prepare a bespoke package for every individual, and every individual is so different. And every case that we get presented with is so different.
Yeah.
So you can't give like just a general price because it varies so much, like Emma said.
Yeah. And it's not just relationships that you investigate either. There's lots of other different cases, right?
Yeah, we've found more recently that people aren't getting the service they deserve from the police.
Right.
And if people have got the money to pay for it privately, they're coming to us because they've had no luck having their case solved.
Yeah.
So they come to us and we basically do the job of the police.
It's like high-value motor cars.
Yeah.
We've had high net worth clients who've had really high-value motor cars stolen, and we are the ones that go and find them because, with all due respect to the police, they don't have the resources. Burglaries, they come to us. We gather the CCTV. We gather all the evidence that the police haven't got time to do, and then we package it all up and we can take it along to the authorities as a complete package.
Mate, now you have celebrity clients, you've had some royal clients as well. I know you can't talk about individual cases, but are they sort of looking at you to investigate similar sorts of things?
Similar, yeah. High-profile people have kind of a different level of information that they need and protection as well. So we've had cases where we've had to look after an individual by doing surveillance on somebody who's suspected of being a stalker, for instance, so that we can protect them.
A lot of that is really scary. If you're somebody who has a stalker and you see that person, that's really frightening, and we can really help people with that by drawing a line, a boundary, and making sure, for example, the person stalking them doesn't cross that boundary and that they can carry on with their life to a degree in safety.
Yeah.
And how undercover do you have to go? Do you have to kind of change outfits and wear disguises and...
So in the early days, we did a lot of the surveillance ourselves.
Right.
Obviously, now we're on TV and we're showing our faces, so we can't do that. We have some really good operatives who work for us. But yeah, in the early days, it was quite interesting, actually. Sam had a really good job where she was a different person throughout the whole day.
7 outfit changes.
No, that's more than even I did.
In the car, in the toilet, in the train. It was, it was quite a day. But I made my appearance change that many times in the day, not to be noticed following somebody. But like Emma says, you know, we're the face of the business now.
Yes.
We're trying to bring a more softer approach. I mean, our clients, you say, look at how our clientele have changed over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
We have a lot of male and female clients, but a lot of males come to us now because although there's other investigation agencies out there that are guys and they run perfectly well and they're great guys, but they sometimes feel easier opening up to a woman. Just to have those chats. They find it really difficult to open up to a man like that.
Yeah, we have people on the phone in tears to us, and I don't think they would do that if a man was answering the phone.
Definitely
it's just
not as
different.
easily.
One of the things
No.
we're quite excited about, though, is that there's going to be a TV drama of some sort
Yes.
based around what it is that the two of you have done.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So a few years ago, we were contacted by a big film production company because they'd seen what we're doing.
Yeah. I thought that.
So yeah, that's all in progress at the moment. We're sitting down with the writers, and that's all being made. It's going to be a fictional drama.
So the question is, who'd play you?
What do you
If you
think?
could
No,
pick anyone.
I really want. I was going to say Hannah Waddington, but actually Cat Delia, I think would be.
She don't come cheap, you know. She don't come cheap.
So, Cat for you.
I'd love
Seven
Michelle
outfits.
Keegan.
Michelle Keegan.
Waddington and
Michelle and
Cat
Cat
Delia.
would be great, wouldn't they?
Put me in a contract.
Also, Ben, talking about AI, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of AI. I saw you in Men's Health magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of AI going on there.
Was it real?
Model's Own. That was all. Yeah, and I'd be very happy for you to investigate as well. So
We'll see you after.
Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you
Lovely to
so
see
much.
Glad everything's
Thank you.
going so well, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll have you back when the drama's on as well. That'd be
Yeah,
really
definitely.
exciting.
Thank
That'd
you
be
for
great.
visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now, when you think of TikTok, you probably picture viral dances, funny filters, influencers with millions of followers.
But the social media platform is also home to one of the biggest online marketplaces in the world.
And whether it's beauty products or children's toys, business is booming on the TikTok shop.
Crazy Orange laces releases now in our TikTok shop.
Guys, I'm just going to show you how to use our new Wig Remedy detangling spray.
Guys, all your happy hoppers now in stock.
We've just launched the best collection ever.
The wig looks pretty much new again.
If you're not fast, you're last.
Stop using your girlfriend's shave butters. I've developed one just for you.
Look what I've got, glitter and glow nice cubes.
I cannot stress enough how easy this wig will be.
Doing a slide. So much fun.
And today we're meeting 3 women whose lives have been changed by the TikTok shop.
Yeah, Laura Mallows now makes £250,000 a month after she launched her beauty products on the platform.
Dominic Bogle was able to quit her 9-to-5 when she started selling wigs online.
And Jane Hastings, bouncing around on a space hopper, has transformed the success of a toy shop since joining TikTok. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being
Wow,
here.
ladies, I take my hat off to you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely brilliant. Laura, let's start with you. When did you first start selling on TikTok, and what made you do it?
I started selling on TikTok about 4 years ago. I actually had a baby, and 3 weeks into my maternity leave, had my accountant ring me and say, "You're going to lose your business if you don't go back to work." So,
And your business was a beauty shop?
it was shave butters, body scrubs, body butters, and I had a phone call from someone at TikTok shop, and they're like, "You can make an extra 10 grand a month if you go live selling." And at that point, I was like, "Well, I have no other option. Cool, I'll do it." So by day, I was emailing and trying to reach out to retailers, and my baby girl strapped to me. And then by night, I was live shopping. And on my
So just explain, just in case anybody isn't across the world of digital and social media, when you say going live, what do you mean?
So I literally was in my warehouse with my phone in front of me, and all my products behind me, and I was packing the orders.
And it's as simple as pressing live button on the phone.
Literally as simple
And anybody
as
who's
that.
on TikTok that follows you, or maybe even pops up anyway, can then join that.
They join the live,
that
yeah.
broadcast.
And that's the best thing about TikTok. The algorithm doesn't just show your followers, it shows the whole of TikTok. So, I was up against the likes of these massive businesses with the same kind of platform and power because anyone could see me. And I was in my warehouse till 10 o'clock at night making so much money, and I actually got myself out of the hole and saved my business through TikTok live shopping and built this fantastic community as well. People joined every night to talk to me, and I could directly talk to people about their products and my products and how they were going to help them, and you just pin a product and people can buy it, and it's easy peasy really, and it's like a direct connection to your customer.
What's that moment like, though, when you suddenly realise that not only is it working, but it's working to this extent?
I mean, yeah, I did a mega live in July and we made 200,000 in one day.
In one day?
I mean, I had a massive screen in front of me, and TikTok flew people over, and there was a room of like 10 people. And I was just watching that revenue figure go up and up and up, and I was standing there with, and it's incredible. It's an amazing feeling.
I expect you get quite a rush out of it, actually.
I think, yeah, it is a rush. It's also, you know, that some. I'll tell you what the best moment for me was.
Yeah.
So on that live, we had like competitions, like every competition every hour, and I FaceTimed my community, everyone who won, to say, okay, you've won like a Gucci bag or an iPhone, and every single person I rung had a Mallows Beauty makeup bag or a Mallows Beauty eye mask on, and they were showing me their collection, and I was like, how rewarding and incredible is that?
And that's the products that you created initially.
Yeah,
it's just
and
exciting.
they already had them in their room, and then they won, and so yeah, I think that's the best thing about TikTok. It's definitely superpowered my brand for sure.
And Dominique, when I look at you're so clever and you're so patient, and what you do is an art. But your company basically formed from you having alopecia.
Absolutely, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so when I was 21, I was studying, doing my degree at uni. I actually started to get alopecia and hair loss, and I didn't know why it was or what happened. And I thought, oh, gosh, there's got to be other women like me going through the same thing, right? Yeah. So I started to sort of research manufacturers, you know, in the UK and abroad to see if I could bring a product that was really good quality but also long-lasting as well. Because our wigs aren't human hair, but they very much look and feel like human hair, like you would never know.
No.
And what we tried to do is really help, you know, other women who are going through hair loss or even just want to change their hairstyles, have a really quick, easy solution to be able to do that. So I started TikTok around 2.5 years ago, still working in corporate, still working full time.
Did you work at HSBC?
I did. I worked in bank, completely different. Completely different. Corporate, 9 to 5, and then sort of 8 to 9 was my TikTok shop going live. And I started in my kitchen. I started in my kitchen on the evenings, yeah.
And where are you now?
I've got my own office space now. We've just signed a new lease for a new warehouse, so we're growing and we're expanding, all because of TikTok shop.
Does your mum work for you?
My mum works there as well, yeah.
That.
Yeah, my mum also,
cute.
she's left the job, yeah.
You talk money as well, because you had a good job. You worked for a big city
absolutely.
bank.
So, yeah, I was, you know, in terms of money, you know, I was definitely on a very, very good salary. Within starting TikTok, I was able to leave my full-time job within 8 months. And, you know, every month we do at least 60, 70K a month on TikTok shop.
Wow.
And actually the service you're providing is incredible as well for the women.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Jane down the end there. Jane, so your toys, toys is your thing. Have you all been always been passionate about toys?
Yeah, I think it's from when I was little. There was a little shop at the end of our road, and I used to love looking in the window. It was called the Broadway stores, and I used to love looking in it, and I think that's where it comes from. But yeah, we specialise in brand new release products that the kids are going to be asking for, and what's being advertised on the telly. Anything that's brand new to the market, we'll have. Yeah. And it's all top quality, top of the range, all the best brands, and we specialise in that. So.
So what happened is you first of all had a unit, like a bricks and mortar store, and then that wasn't doing so well. So then you started doing TikTok,
and it went mad.
And it
went mad. It took over my life. So about last June, 2024's Global Toy of the Year landed. I went live with that, and that's when it really kicked off. It was interactive FX Stitch, and that's when it just went. My head fell off and went, what's going on here?
But Jane, I mean, you know, what was your experience of TikTok up till then? Were you
I was just a watcher since COVID, so I used to sit there.
Scroll
all day,
How did you feel when suddenly you're going live and you're doing the sales and the mega sales like the girls?
Well, I was terrified because of my accent. I was like, I can't do them lives. As no one's, because it's very strong, isn't it? But so I got someone in to do it, but that didn't work. So in the end, I went, I'll do it myself. So I just pressed go. I had no idea what I was doing. Pressed go, went live, and hey presto, I'm sitting here with you two lovelies today.
But I think that's the key to all of your success stories, is how authentic all of these things are. Like,
thank you so much.
You know, you love the toy, and now the toys. The TikTok feeds the toy shop as well, essentially, and makes that even more popular.
But we'll have to keep the shop. Like, we will have to move because we have outgrown it and we're struggling. But we can't forget all our regulars who've kept us going for all years.
Including some of the Liverpool team as well.
Oh, they love us. They're my mates.
Who have you had in?
Well, Nunes, he's my mate. I can't ask for selfies no more with him. He always comes in, so does Diaz. They all come in because They all live around the corner from our shop, so I give them privacy. We don't harass them. We just lock the door and lead them to it. But we were just about to go live the other week. Next thing, car pulls up. It was Nunes and his full fambo. Must have all come over, and we had the studio set up. And I looked in, and they took the phones off. They had all their own phones on, and they were all posing in the studio.
I love it. Amazing. You imagine these footballers going into Prada, going into Ralph Lauren. They're in your toy shop having an amazing time.
Ladies, you're brilliant.
Thank
You're
you so
moguls,
much.
and I
Thank you.
love the amount of success that you've had. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank
Ben,
you.
don't forget to pop us a follow.
All right.
Guys, pop us a follow.
I'm not au fait too much with
Me
TikTok,
either.
but I'm on it.
We'll get on it.
I just brought out men shave better as well. So
Oh,
we'll get
okay.
you
Men
in, I'll
shave
get you
butter all
in,
over that.
They don't need to trick these lot, do they?
Really inspiring.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
hello.
you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Shocking CCTV footage has captured the moment that Bridgerton actress Genevieve Chenna had her phone stolen before she bravely fought back against the thief.
Yeah, sadly, it's a case that's becoming all too common. Nearly 1 in 3 people in the UK have had their mobiles stolen, with the number of phone thefts doubling in the last 5 years alone.
Genevieve is here now to share the terrifying incident alongside former Chief Superintendent Palm Sandhu. Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi, nice to see you. When you look at the footage, it's almost unbelievable, Genevieve.
I know. When I first saw it, it was shocking because I don't even remember my reaction, and I thought it was way longer than it actually was. That moment before anything happened, I thought it was about 20 seconds. It was milliseconds.
Split seconds,
Yeah.
and you decided to make that decision. Do you remember anything about what happened just before he tried to take your phone?
Yeah, you know what? I had a bit of a sixth sense that something wasn't quite right. You know,
Mhm.
as a woman, you have that kind of intuition, and I could feel people moving around me in a different way, but I only became aware of it once the incident had happened and in hindsight. But I did feel they were going back and forth trying to find a target, so they chose me.
So they'd been scoping out the various customers in the coffee shop for a while, working
Yeah.
out who they could attack.
Mm.
I mean, it's amazing watching it happen because you react so quickly. It's clearly instinct takes over. What do you make of the fact that that was your instinct, just to try and grab him and then to force him and to get your phone back?
I mean, I don't know if I would advise anybody else to do it. I think I have very quick reactions thanks to having 3 brothers growing up. And I'm an ABA carded boxer. So I think it just was an instinct. Also do a lot of fight training for work and acting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what came over me. I thought that was a normal reaction. And then I read all the comments and realised actually a lot of people would just let them take the phone.
Yeah.
Well, we see a small snapshot. There's somebody else that helps you who's in the coffee shop as well. But you were saying, actually, the incident went on for a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
And you end up on the floor, holding him down on the floor.
Yeah, it was about 5 minutes, I think, I've been told. And it kind of went round the corner and it turned into like a full-on scrap with 2 people. And
Because he had someone with him as well.
yeah, and I was, you know, threatened with being stabbed. So it became a real matter of, in my mind, life and death. So I did things like, I remember kicking him back with my leg to create space in case he had a weapon on him. Yeah, it was just a life-changing, crazy moment.
And when you say whether he had a weapon on him, he has done this before. And actually, there's footage of him with a machete.
I know. Have you seen the picture?
Yes. So he'd done this before, hadn't he?
Yeah, to Aled.
Yeah, Aled Jones.
Aled Jones, who I've been in touch with, yeah.
And what had happened to Aled?
I mean, we just both agreed that it was like an awful thing, but I mean, I can't speep for him.
I mean, he stole Alec's watch, didn't he?
Yeah.
Took his watch.
Yeah.
And then I think
Threatened him.
he ended up in youth detention centre
Yeah.
after he attacked Aled back in 2023.
Mhm.
So he has form for doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Clearly you managed to fight back and you are safe and you're okay physically, but how did it affect you emotionally and mentally, Genevieve?
I mean, it opened up so many conversations with people that I know and don't know. And I've been really made aware of how many people are living with that anxiety, men that have had their phones stolen and women. So I can only talk for a woman's perspective, but I do know that men are dealing with that same level of anxiety. But
because that happened to you afterwards. You didn't want to go outside, did you?
Yeah, I didn't want to go outside. I mean, and as a woman, we're already, I think, have our wits about us around strangers and random men. So to have this happen to me while dealing with that probably base level that a lot of women have just made me quite agoraphobic. Yeah, leaving the house was really hard.
And now when you think back with hindsight, would you do the same thing again? Or would you think twice about it? Because as you said before, you just don't know. Does he have a knife? Does he have some form of weapon?
Exactly. And I mean, that he looks, I mean, like maybe 20. I thought he was kind of an idiot, you know, harmless. But after seeing the picture with him with a machete, I realised, like, wow, there is not one look for someone that's dangerous. It can be anybody, and anybody that's willing to do that might be willing to take it further, so...
I mean, Palm, Genevieve's at pains to say, look, she wouldn't recommend someone else does this with instinct that took over. And fortunately, she's been trained in a way that she understands that making a bit of distance, and she has some sort of combat experience. But it is on the rise, and we are all susceptible to exactly what happened in that shop, aren't we?
Genevieve was very brave, and I commend her for that, but I would not recommend that anybody fights back. It just isn't worth it. And where you covered the areas around the stress and the anxiety afterwards, it affects everybody. And one of the things that I came across in my own experience was that when a man is mugged or has their phone stolen, they're less likely to ask for help because they're supposed to be roughy-tufty and they're supposed to be able to cope with it. But you do get that that fear of coming out of the house, and especially with men, they won't admit that they need help, and they quite often they get isolated. They have the lack of help, and they are in their homes, and they can't actually say this is as a result of what happened to me. But unfortunately, mobile phone theft is on the increase. There's been around 150% increase for Home Office figures just over the last year. And over the last year, there was 100,000 mobile phones stolen. 78,000 of them were in London. And so when you talk about going about your business, you're not necessarily walking in a dangerous area or in an area where you feel insecure. You are sitting there, you're relaxing, you're having a coffee, or you're out with friends, or you're using your mobile phone. You don't expect it to happen to you. But unfortunately, as you say, it's happening to more and more people, and we all need to not take responsibility, but we need to protect ourselves and make sure that we are not the next target. But please, the one thing I would say is don't fight back, because you are worth more than your mobile phone. The injuries that you could end up with, and Genevieve mentioned the fact that you don't know what these people are carrying. They could have a knife, they could have a syringe, they could have any other weapon that they can use on you. And if you are the person who's standing between them and their freedom, they are going to kick, punch, use anything that's around them to try and escape and evade that capture. So please just give them your phone, and then there are steps you can take after your phone is gone to protect your data, because this isn't just about the mobile phone. This is about having access to your personal data, to your mobile phone apps that activate your bank accounts, your identity details. There are things that you can do.
Yeah, the phone's a gateway to so many other things.
Yeah. So first of all, tell us how we protect ourselves from not having our phone stolen. Then give us the advice for if it is.
OK. When you're using your mobile phone, try and use it so that you can see around you, so that nobody can come up behind you on a bike or run past you and grab your phone. One of the things that I found is where you can get your mobile phones with the covers, with the little straps on, really effective. Really effective, because if you've got a strap around your wrist as well, it's harder for them to snatch it and run. Always be aware that these people don't work alone. They generally have another person. And if that person is getting into trouble with you, the second person is likely to step in, which is why I say give them the phone. So be careful where you use it. If you can use headphones or buds or something, that is a safe way, because then your phone's in your pocket. They're less likely to go for you. If and when your phone has been taken or lost, contact you. All of us have got an IMEI number, which is like a serial number on your phone. If you don't know how to find it, you can look on the internet. For an iPhone, basically, it's under your settings, under general, and you can find your IMEI number. Because a lot of people say, well, what's that? And where do I find it? Write it down, put it in your house, and just keep it there. if your phone is taken, report it straight away to your service provider. And if you can get onto a laptop and you've got Find My Phone, you can deactivate your phone. You can erase your personal data straight away. But do let your provider know. Contact your bank straight away and say, my phone's been stolen and I had phone access for my mobile data, mobile banking. So there are steps you can take to protect your bank account, your personal data, and also get that phone locked there and then. If you have insurance, let your insurance company know. And one of the things that I would say, report it to the police. A lot of people will say, well, what's the point? I'm never going to get my phone back. And it is unlikely that you're going to get your phone back. But if you report it, that area will then become a hotspot. People will know that that's where the mobile phone theft is prevalent, and resources from police can be allocated to that area. And they may be undercover, they may be in plain clothes, you may not even know that people are there, but it will create a reaction from the local police.
So it does have an impact.
Yes, it does.
Statistics.
How are you doing now, Genevieve?
How am I doing now? I've actually taken a bit of a break from London, and I'm just kind of I've been here for 7 years, working, auditioning, acting, just to kind of have a bit of a reset, because it really did affect my confidence. Yeah, going out the first time I went out afterwards, I remember standing in a queue and just my hands were sweating, and I was so vigilant and aware of my surroundings. So, yeah, just kind of trying to feel calmer.
Yeah.
And
take a minute.
Yeah, which I think is quite hard to do in our industry.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for coming on the show this morning,
sharing
and thank
the
you for
stories on.
talking about it. Thanks, Dr.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. All of that, though, our first guest is on a mission to achieve the body of her dreams, even if that means risking her own life.
At just 30 years old, Scarlett has undergone 4 Brazilian butt lifts, the world's most dangerous cosmetic procedure.
And as her dramatic transformation is laid bare in Olivia Attwood's new documentary, The Price of Perfection, she's joined us now alongside Dr. Zoe. Good morning to all you. Scarlett, thank you for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me. Good morning.
It's an extraordinary thing for us to look at. You're 30, you're gorgeous, you're lovely, and clearly you have... I think it's probably an addiction to trying to find a way to create the perfect body in your mind. When did you start on this sort of cosmetic challenge journey?
Well, my first surgery that I had, I think I was 20 years old. I had my boobs done, and obviously I had that done, and I thought, oh, that was nice. So then I went and had my nose done, and then the BBL started, I think 5 years ago, I had my first one. And then I've kind of like tried to have one every year. I did skip a year, but yeah, so I've had 4 altogether now.
And Scarlett, what were you like when you were a little girl? What did you look like, and what was your appearance like? And what do you think it was that made you go, I'm not enough as I am, I want to be different?
I think I was always kind of on the curvier side. I was never like that skinny. And I think I thought to myself, you know what, if I'm going to be curvy, let's be really curvy or something, you know, let's make the most of it, and let's kind of like, you know, see if I can, you know, have some stuff done. So I am kind of happy with how I look.
And was that a really kind of personal choice that you made in your own mind, or were you influenced by social media or by fashion or by magazines? What was it that influenced you?
I mean, of course, social media obviously is a big thing. Obviously, celebrities, you see like the Kardashians having everything done and you think, oh, I want to look like them, don't you? So it definitely does influence how you think, seeing everybody else get these things done. And, you know, you don't want people on the internet, you know, calling you fat or something. Like, I get that all the time, but...
You get that all the time?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I've had 4 rounds of life and they still call me fat, so you can't win, can you?
But do you find it easy to ignore that sort of comment because you're looking after yourself and you're doing what you want to do? Or is that one of the reasons that you feel like you're constantly searching for something more?
No, to be honest, they don't bother me, because at the end of the day, I'm happy with how I look. I get these things done for me. I don't get them done for anybody else. So, like, no matter how many things I could have done, people would still have stuff to say.
Well,
so...
Kat makes an interesting question about what you were like as a little girl, because, of course, you have a family, you have a mum, parents that I'm sure have their own feelings about this. What does your mum make of the fact that you're putting yourself through this, particularly this most really dangerous procedure, which is the Brazilian butt lift?
Well, of course, everybody was like, no, don't get it done, please don't get it done. Like, obviously, it's really dangerous, and they were worried, but I think they knew that I was going to do it anyway. Like, once I got my mind set to something, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, I don't think anybody was really that happy that I was getting it done, but I think they're just glad that I'm happy now that I've had it
And
done.
how do they
I'm
feel
okay.
about the way you look compared to where you were as a young girl growing up as a teenager?
I mean, yeah, it's probably sad to see that, you know, I wasn't happy with how I looked naturally. I can understand that completely. But at the end of the day, I'm a lot happier now that I've had everything done. So I think that's all that matters.
Because, I mean, it is a really risky surgery, actually. And obviously, those risks go up depending on where you choose to go and the surgeon you choose to use. And you actually got some, didn't you get some burning from one of the operations?
So my first one, I got some lipo burns on the sides, which at the time I kind of just didn't realise that wasn't really the norm.
Sorry, that was your first one?
Yeah, that was my first round, so I didn't realise that that kind of wasn't normal.
Right.
It's only when I've had like 3 more, I thought, oh yeah, that weren't normal, I shouldn't have had that. But it is one of the complications and one of the risks that you do know that could happen. Obviously, I took the risk and I got
Did
those
that not put you
burns.
off, though? That would have put me off. I would have gone, you know what? I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to do that again. I don't
Well,
think.
I mean, they healed okay. Like, there's little scars and stuff. But at the end of the day, I knew the risks going in. And like I said, I thought it was normal.
Scarlett, can you just explain the procedure as well? Because I think it's something that that is quite hard to understand if you don't know what's gone into it.
So basically what they do is they lipo you first. So I have 360 lipo.
Which means they suck your fat out of your body, various bits of your body. Which bits of your body?
So I had stomach, upper back, lower back, arms, legs, double chins, literally like 360s, like everywhere basically.
And the 360 is what makes that more dangerous, isn't it?
I think the dangerous part is when they inject it back into the bum. I think that's the dangerous
Okay, so they take all this fat that they've sucked out.
Yeah, and then they kind of like get the purest fat out of it and then they inject it back into the bum. And I think that's the part that's risky and dangerous because if they inject it into the wrong place, it can like block an artery or something.
Yeah, okay. And then the recovery. How long does it take before you can just move around normally?
Well, you can't sit down for 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah, you can't drive, you can't sit down. You have to just either stand up or lay down for 6 weeks straight. And then even after that, it's still, you know, another like 1 to 2 months kind of like before you can kind of do everything normal again.
Scarlett, in the show, obviously you'd gone down to theatre. You didn't meet your surgeon until 5 minutes before you went kind of down to theatre. And obviously you were in theatre, so you didn't see. But when I watched it, Olivia was really worried about you because you'd literally just had this conversation with the doctor and then the doctor didn't want her to go into the theatre all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So she was really worried about it. Did you do lots of research and things like that?
Yeah, so I'd done lots of research, but that is kind of normal. When you're having surgery abroad, you don't meet the surgeon until right before. Obviously, when you have a surgery in England, you kind of go up and you have a consultation, you meet them before, but where they're in another country, your consultation is just sending them photos online. So it's not until the day that they actually take a look at you and see like, oh, are you actually suitable? And I think he did say like, you have got a lot of scar tissue because it was like, obviously not my first time having it.
Right.
So I think maybe that's why Olivia was concerned that she was like worried it wasn't going to all go okay.
The problem is though, once you're in that position and you're in your gown and you're marked up, it's like, well, I'm here now. I might as well do it.
But you could back down if you wanted to.
Scarlett, you had to go abroad because you actually, no one would have given you the 4th butt lift over here, is that right?
I mean, I wouldn't have had it done in England anyway because the surgeons in England like to do it very kind of natural and that wasn't the kind of look that I wanted. When you go abroad, they do give you the more extreme look. So I didn't
So they'll take more, okay. So
I didn't even look at the UK surgeons.
Right. Zoe, Scarlett's described the procedure, which sounds extraordinarily invasive, very, very dangerous. From a medical perspective, how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, of all the cosmetic procedures out there, it does have the highest death rate. I think, you know, I'm not here to judge Scarlett, and you obviously knew the risks and you weighed up the benefits and the risks for you, and you felt that having that surgery fell on the side of benefit. You were willing to take that risk. And you could say the same about all cosmetic surgery. You know, we could judge and say, but, you know, you don't need it, so you shouldn't have it. But there's a whole industry there that isn't going anywhere. But I think that's exactly the key thing, is that people are aware of the risks and are they willing to take them. I do worry about people going abroad, though, for that reason, that they're not regulated in the same way. You know, we're very surgical techniques, as long as they're being done by a surgeon who's registered in the right way. They're very, very safe environments. They're very clean environments. You know, they have certain procedures in place, like, you know, even swabs that you use to, there's a count at the beginning, there's a count at the end, so you're making sure you're not leaving anything inside the body. My concerns about going abroad is that they don't necessarily have those same procedures and regulations, and also the follow-up care as well. So as you were saying, 6 weeks that you can't sit down, that's really difficult. Like, that's a really difficult period of your life, and I think a lot of people do need follow-up. They do need to be assessed. Infections are really common with this procedure as well. So, of course, the NHS will always look after people wherever they've had their surgery, but not having access to your surgeon to be assessed by them and examined by them is a concern as well. But yeah, there's a whole range of possible dangerous side effects. The most important one that Scarlett mentioned is something called fat embolism. So when the fat is sucked out of the body in various different places, goes through a process of purification and then is injected into the butt. If it's injected into the muscle, it can accidentally go into a blood vessel. That fat can then travel to the heart and then travel to the lung and block the lung, and that causes pulmonary embolism, PE, which can be fatal. So that's the biggest concern. But the other concerns are about infection, tissue necrosis, so that's when tissue actually dies, so you can get hard, lumpy appearance from that. And I just think the impact that it has on your life, 6 weeks not being able to sit down.
Zoe, what were the burns? What's that?
So when they've taken the fat out of the body, they have to warm up the fat and separate the fat in order to suck it out into the tube. So purely the heat, the temperature that device has to go up to can potentially cause burns.
Scarlett, do you feel satisfied at the moment with how you're looking and what you've managed to create?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely satisfied, and that was my last round, so I'm not having any more.
Any more of anything or any more of...
I mean, nothing for a long time. I've got no plans at the minute.
And have you had any surgery or any procedures that you regret after having them done?
No, I haven't, to be fair. I've always had a good experience, but obviously I know that's not the same for everybody. Like, everyone has different experiences, but I've always had a very positive experience, which is why I was happy to, like, have it all filmed and everything, because it's nice to show, like, a different side, because you always hear, like, these horror stories. I thought it's nice just to show, like, a positive experience as well.
Well, Olivia is brilliant at doing the show. She's absolutely brilliant. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. And Olivia Atwood's The Price of Perfection starts tonight at 10:05 on ITV2 and ITVX. And watch some of it behind my pillow there.
Yes, it is pretty graphic, isn't it?
There was quite a lot going on in certain Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Just fascinating. He takes up to 50 supplements a day, has had his son's plasma injected into him in a bid to remain youthful. So, is there a method out of bounds that Brian would use that perhaps isn't the right thing for him, or would he just try anything? We're going to find out this morning. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's an extraordinary thing that you're trying to achieve, and a little bit overwhelming at times as well, Brian. What made you want to start on this journey?
Well, I think that, you know, if we travel in time to, let's say, a few hundred years into the future, and they're looking back at our time and place, I think they might say two things about this moment. One is, this is the remarkable moment when humans gave birth to a new form of intelligence in the form of AI. And secondly, this is the moment when humans figured out they wouldn't die.
So tell us, first of all, what was your life like before you went on this mission? Paint a picture for us.
I was an entrepreneur, and I bought the narrative that when you are an entrepreneur, you don't sleep or exercise. You really martyr your health in order to be successfully financially. And so I was not well rested. I was obese. I was depressed. I was really sad. And so I was in a bad spot, and I needed to make some big changes in my life.
And is that what the catalyst was, essentially, that you felt so unhealthy? Or was it always a dream of yours that actually I want to live forever?
Yeah, so it's not even about living forever. It's just about being your very best self. And culture currently tells us that you should martyr your health in order to achieve financial success.
Right.
And that leads to all sorts of problems, mental health disorders, obesity, metabolic disease. And so I thought, this is really wrong, that culture is telling us to do bad things to our body and our minds, and we're supposed to just do it. And so I wanted to really explore that, of what could you do if you applied the world's best science in a rigorous way, what is possible?
Now, fortunately, you're in a position where you can afford to do this because you've been very successful as an entrepreneur and you've made millions of dollars, and now you have a team around you that helps you implement this lifestyle. Just talk us through what your routine is then, Brian, on an average day.
Yeah, so first I should probably prime and say, because what I'm going to say is probably pretty alarming to a lot of people, but I do spend 5 hours every day going through my longevity protocol. Okay. It begins at 4:30 in the morning, where I do a series of, I get light in my eyes, I take my temperature, I do an hour of exercise, I do 20 minutes of sauna, I do 90 minutes of hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and 6 minutes of red and near light. And then I have a lot of vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, extra virgin olive oil. I have become the most measured person in human history. And so we do this entire process, but a lot of people get confused. I am a professional rejuvenation athlete. So it's like, take your favorite athlete and look at their training protocol. I'm doing something similar, but for anti-aging.
Do you ever go, oh, I just can't be bothered today. I just want a cup of tea and I want to put my feet up.
You know, actually, I don't feel as good when I do that. I really enjoy what I do on a daily basis. It makes me very happy.
So do you feel like it's become addictive as well? It feels like the more you're doing, the more you're experiencing, the more you're seeing the difference, the more you want it?
You know, I feel like I found a passion, a hobby, a pursuit. I love it. I love the process of training. I love measurement. I love learning the science and then feeding it back in. I love when we find insights that I can take to other people and say, here, let me take this really complicated thing and make it really simple for you. Because I know that people don't have the time or the money that I do. So we try to take these things and make it really easy for people to do that are free and that everybody can do on a daily basis.
So Tommy, explain to me how you've slowed down the speed of your aging and how you measure that.
Yeah, so I guess intuitively we know this, that we see our friends. Some age quickly, some age slowly. You can see it in the skin quality and the vibrancy. So,
do you feel like he's looking at you and going, what age are you? How old are you?
47.
47.
Goodness me.
Shall we make him guess our ages?
How old? Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, if you were to look at us, how old do you think we might be?
So it's a really tricky question because you can be chronologically, you know, I'm 47, but biologically, I'm hundreds of different ages. My left ear is 64. I have hearing damage from shooting guns as a kid and listening to loud music. But my heart, you know, is like in my mid-30s. My diaphragm is 18. So you can age all your different organs. And so you're a lot of different ages.
And one of the things that you measure is your rectum as well. Your rectal age is very young, right?
It is, exactly, yeah. And you also, we measure nighttime tumescence. So every night, males and females have nighttime sexual arousal. But it's not sexual in nature, it's just like a systems check. So there's all kinds of things people can do to check their biological age. And these markers are really important. They predict all-cause mortality, they predict all kinds of health. And so what we've done is we've taken science and measured biological age, and we've slowed my speed of aging. I'm now the slowest recorded with the best clinically validated clock out there. It's 0.50, which means for every 12 months that pass, I age 6 months.
Yeah. You see what he's managed to do as well is avoid trying to guess our age. Very cleverly.
I know, I saw that. That sidestepping, that little dance he just did, it was very good.
It does make, though, because you have a very strict routine. You're really, really committed to it. But it does take out a little bit of the spontaneity of life, Brian. Life is about living and experiencing and finding exciting little bits and pieces along the way. Do you miss that spontaneity of just being able to choose to do something or go somewhere because you have all these very rigorous sort of markers that you have to hit?
Yeah, well, I will say I was in Sweden last week and I did go to 2 raves.
Did you?
Did you really?
I love to dance.
Yeah.
And
I'd imagine
it won't do that ear any good.
But you know what? I had custom earplugs.
So
it was all carefully planned.
I measured the sound levels. I put my earplugs in, made sure it was safe.
Okay.
No, can you talk to me as well about your son and injecting? You've taken his plasma and you inject his plasma into you.
Yeah.
Why?
So the real story was my father, he's in his early 70s. He started suffering cognitive decline. He called me in a panic and said, I don't know what to do.
Right.
So at the time we were studying plasma infusions, and I said, Dad, there's some evidence that this may help on Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. If you want to do this, I'm happy to help you. Okay. So it really was me helping my father. And so my son heard about this. He's like, you know what, Dad, like, I know you're experimenting with all kinds of things. If so you want me to do it, I'm happy to do it as well. And so he said, why don't we just do a tri-generational exploration? So, but the press picked up that it was me getting it from my son. It was really about me and my father and trying to help him with his cognitive decline. And I'll note that he saw a reduction in his speed of aging by the equivalent of 25 years. So it dramatically improved his health.
We'll have viewers sitting at home watching this morning thinking, well, look, we don't have the resources to be able to do all the things that you're trying to do, but you are trying to share things people can do for free, think that you have experienced. What would you say would be the one thing that they could make a change to their life which would slow their aging or help in some way?
Yeah, the good news is I have something really practical that everybody can do that is really powerful. So before you go to bed tonight, lay down on the pillow, take a few deep breaths, calm yourself down, and then measure your resting heart rate. So put your fingers on the pulse, measure your heart rate for 6 seconds, and then multiply that by 10. That's your baseline resting heart rate. Let's just say tonight it's 60 beats per minute. Your goal now is to get that as low as possible. And you're going to do that by eating earlier and lighter. We know what it feels like to eat a big meal right before bed. Your heart's pounding, you're hot, you can't go to sleep. So eating earlier in the day and lighter foods helps you lower your heart rate. Also having a wind down routine. So 60 minutes before bed, turn the screens off and you'll read a book, meditate, breath work, go for a walk, talk to a friend. But stress and rumination increase your heart rate. So what you'll find is everything that lowers your heart rate is good. Everything that increases your heart rate is bad. That is by far the most valuable thing anybody can do because it reveals diet and stress and habits, and it keeps you in check with all of the maybe not so good habits that happen in the later parts of the night.
Brian, it's so interesting because so much of what you say actually sounds so sensible, and it's, you can completely understand why you're doing it. But do you ever think, oh my goodness, there's not all the people that I love most in the world won't be around if I succeed in doing this? Do you ever think about that? And how do you feel about it?
Yeah. My parents they have turned their lives around. So I think that they see that the majority of their friends are really their health is declining in a significant way. And I think they felt a new, renewed sense of hope that they can do things that actually change their well-being. And they didn't know these basic things like eating too close to bed is bad. They didn't know that these high levels of stress of being on the phone, of scrolling, increases your heart rate and lessens your sleep quality, which then lowers your willpower and all these things. So I really think that this is a new time to be human. We know the world is changing very quickly, and there's a new hope for being healthy. So I think there's a special time and place now for everybody to say yes to life and yes to health, these really basic daily self-care practices.
So they won't leave you. They'll be there growing old.
I think they will be.
Yeah, they'll be with you. Brian, thank you for coming in. It's been
really
fascinating.
interesting. Thank you very much indeed. Remember, you should always consult a medical professional before undertaking any health and lifestyle change.
But the idea of trying to lower your resting heart rate, very simple. We'll give it a go.
Things, eating
Track
earlier.
See how it goes. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Now, 15 years ago, our next guest hit rock bottom and was struggling to find a way out. Today, she's a self-help superstar and the most listened to woman in the world.
She has more than 21 million followers on social media, A-list fans like Oprah, the Kardashians. Mel Robbins is one of this century's most influential voices.
But how exactly has she managed to not only help herself, but give people all around the world the tools to change their own lives for the better? Well, it all comes down to two very simple words. Let them.
Let them. Just let them. You're just going to say let them. Let them. Let them. Let them. When I say let them, I get a jolt of superiority. And this is why people get this tattooed on their bodies.
By far, just one of the best self-help books I've ever read.
This is what you can't control. This little guy right here, that's you.
I love what you said about being present.
It helps you feel the way that you want to feel.
I've spent my entire life being the fixer.
It is possible to be somebody that helps everybody else without losing who you are.
In life, there are always three things I can control. What you think, what you do or don't do, how you process your emotions. The more you let other people be themselves, the better your relationships become.
I hope you know just how meaningful you taking the time to be here. And I just want to say thank you so much. It's meant the world to me.
Wow, and the incredible Mel Robbins joins us now. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning.
Mel, lovely to meet you.
We were just talking before and we were saying about where you came from and how you developed this idea and how you learned the hard way.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is about me, but I have to learn things the hard way. And all of the success that you see now, even watching that tape package, I'm like, who is that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's me. I think one of the reasons why I'm really connecting and resonating with people is this also happened later in life.
Yes.
So for those folks that don't know, when I was 41 years old, my husband's restaurant business started going under, and we, like complete morons, had secured the entire thing with our life savings, our house. And so we've got 3 kids under the age of 10. We find ourselves, in US dollars, it was $800,000 in debt. In pounds, it was $600,000 in debt. Liens hit the house. Like, we couldn't pay our bills. I had lost my job, and I found myself lying in bed every morning, unable to get out of bed, because I would just lay there and stare at the ceiling and think, I've completely ruined my life. And what happens in life is that I think there are people that are positively motivated, but if you're a normal human being, there comes a time where you get so sick of your own pain and excuses that pain makes you hit something solid inside yourself. And what happened for me is I just realized nobody's going to come and fix this situation. If I want things to get better, I have to figure out how to force myself out of this bed and start doing the little things every day that you know you need to do, but you don't feel like doing. And that's how all of this began. And it's been 16 years of simply putting one foot in front of the other and doing the next thing that I didn't feel like doing that has led to everything that you see now, whether it's the podcast or the books that I write or the impact that I make online with people.
Mel, what do you think the Mel that's lying 15 years ago in bed looking at the ceiling thinking, how are we going to get out of this, would make of the Mel that's sitting here now with all of this extraordinary...
I don't think that I could have ever even imagined something as extraordinary to happen. And here's the big message. I don't think you realize what you're capable of. And the mistake that you make is probably the same mistake I was making. You are waiting to feel ready. You are waiting to feel motivated. You're waiting to feel like you have it perfect. You're waiting for the right time. And I'm here to tell you, all of that waiting is what's ruining your life. Motivation is complete garbage. Complete and utter rubbish, as you would say, because it is never there when you need it. I mean, if motivation were easy, we'd all have $1 million and six-pack abs. We'd all be living our dream life. The secret to life, honest to goodness, is making yourself do the things you don't feel like doing. And it was during this time that I developed this little motivation hack that I call the 5-second rule. So in the States, I don't know if you have it here, but if you drop food on the floor and pick it up in 5 seconds, safe to eat.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, if you have an idea and you think about it for longer than 5 seconds, your mind contaminates your desire to do it.
Because you start talking yourself out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's all these fancy words for this that psychologists have, but I just like to speak about it in a way that anybody can understand.
Sure.
So the hack that I had was I just was inspired by this rocket launch, and I started counting backwards every morning. I'd be lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about all my problems, rotting away like a human pot roast. And then I would just start counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I would get out of bed. And I called this technique the 5-second rule. You got to move in 5 seconds or you will literally talk yourself out of it, as you said. And I use this little countdown thing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to push myself every day through the anxiety, the depression, the excuses. Because the truth is, one of the beautiful things about life today is you could go to ChatGPT, if that's what I always say it wrong because of dyslexia. You could put in, I want to know how to do X, Y, Z. Tell me what to do 15 minutes a day for 30 days. It'll spit out the best plan. It'll work. The problem will be you. Because then you're going to be like, oh, it's not going to work for me. And it's always you against you. And so that's how things began 16 years ago. I just wanted to get out of bed. I just wanted to get the kids on the bus. I just wanted to start paying my bills. I just wanted to stop screaming at my husband. And I think we all know what we need to do, but we're waiting to feel ready to do it. And that's the trap.
But I think also, Mel, what you do so brilliantly is you make it so simple and so bite-sized. You don't kind of cloud it with more kind of sophisticated words, and you don't make it difficult.
Life is difficult enough.
It's like when you talk about your phone. I made the switch last night. I put an alarm clock by my bed instead of the phone, because the phone is a big thing.
Well, tell everybody what the thing is about.
So the phone, the minute the alarm goes off, you pick up the phone and then you start scrolling.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you're horizontal, and instantaneously, there are thousands of people in your room with you, telling you, feeding you information. The world's problems are on your shoulders.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you've wasted another 20 minutes and you're then anxious.
Of course. Well, yeah, because if you start your day and you're like this, right? And then you reach for your phone. You're not even vertical, and you've let the headlines and texts and emails from work get into your brain. This is one of the reasons why you're last on your list. This is one of the reasons why you wake up behind and exhausted. And so the simplicity is important, because if it's not simple, you won't be able to do it.
Yes.
That's
what you
the
do
power
brilliantly.
of this let them theory.
Yeah.
It's so simple, anybody can use it.
Can you explain, because it's a fascinating, when you hear you talk about it as well, can you explain what you mean by let them?
Sure. So the let them theory is a mindset tool that shows you, like that, what's in your control and what's not in your control. And it's so simple to use. Literally any moment you feel stressed out, worried, annoyed, frustrated, upset, hurt in life, you just say, let them. That's it. That's it. You don't even need to buy the book. That's it. And
I'm not sure your publishers are thinking that.
But here's the thing. I want people to use it.
Yeah.
That's why I care so much about this, because we live in a moment in time where there is so much out of your control, whether you're worried about AI, or you're worried about the headlines, or you're worried about somebody in your life, or you're worried about your job, or you're stressed out about your kids. There is a better way to go through life, because all that stuff out there, yes, it's real. Yes, it's important, but it doesn't and shouldn't impact you in here to the extent that it does. And when you learn, as Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning, how to see what's out there as beyond your control, but take control by managing your response to it, you gain control of your life. You will never be able to control the amount of traffic and construction in London. Let them. Let them. You can't control how long the queue is in line. Let them.
Yeah.
You can't control the challenging people in your family. In fact, the reason why we have families is because it teaches us how to love people we hate at times. You got to let people be who they are and who they're not. Because the one thing in life you can't control is another person. What they think, what they do, what they believe, how they act. When they heal, if they ever heal, if they get to, let them be who they are. Because that's not where your power is. And that's why you're so stressed out, because you're managing everybody else. Let them be who they are. Let them say what they say. Let them think what they think. Now, let's take our power back. Let me is part two. Let me remind myself there's three things in life I can control. I control what I think about this. I control what I do and don't do. I control how I respond to my feelings. And what this taught me is for the first 54 years of my life, I was living it in reverse. I was giving all my time and energy to managing everybody else. I put more weight into other people's opinions. I was navigating my day at work based on my boss's mood. There's an easier way. Let them. Stop managing everybody else and take the power back. And what you'll recognize is you have no idea how often you allow the world to stress you out. And that's why you're tired. That's why you have no energy. When you protect your time and energy from all this meaningless stuff and from things you can't control, you get your time and energy back. It's crazy simple.
It is simple, and hearing you say it is really compelling and very simple.
Brilliant.
Thrilled that you're sticking around, because you're going to be taking some phone calls from our viewers, aren't you?
Oh, great.
To offer them some
Great.
help as well, because I think that's going to be really pertinent.
Yeah, for sure. Mel's new book, The Let Them Theory, is out now. Thank you, Mel.
as I was
Look
saying,
forward to that. Thank you for
sticking
visiting
around.
our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. He's come face to face with some terrifying creepy crawlies and braved even the most brutal of bush tucker trials.
But all of that paled in insignificance to the mammoth mission that our Sam put himself through last week, travelling 260 miles from London to Old Trafford to deliver this year's Soccer Aid match ball in time for kick-off.
He had to dig deep to push through what was the toughest challenge of his life, but push through he did, and we honestly couldn't be prouder of him. Here's a reminder of Sam's incredible achievement.
Let's go, Sam.
Guess who's joining you on your next peg?
No, you're not.
No, I'm actually not.
Oh! Look what you've done, Sam! I was absolutely fine for the first, 35, and then my car popped.
God, the rain's just coming in now. It's not quite the sunshine you had yesterday. I just want to tell...
Oh my God!
You are remarkable. You have raised 900...
I'm really struggling today, man.
I've got nothing left.
£1,516,433.22 so far. Yes.
Oh, the conquering hero!
Well done, mate. Look, I'm throwing my glass over. I'm so excited.
It's making me. I've got to stop crying. It makes me so
You need to
emotional.
rehydrate just because of so much tears.
So many tears, man. I just want to say, actually, from the start, mate, thank you so much for all your support. It was every time I saw you, and I heard you, it was literally just. It was like. It made me so emotional, so I really, really, really appreciate it. Ben, obviously, on day one, mate, you turning up, I just tore my calf at that point, and I was so down because I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I know that I've got so far ahead of me, and you have the strongest mentality. And Ben turns up and he's literally like, mate, one foot in front of the other. You're not completing this. And like he just like, I needed someone who's not going to mollycoddle me, and you were just the perfect guy for that. It was just, I'm so grateful.
So it was a really, I could tell how low you were because all the planning, all the expectation, all the hope, and you'd had this injury. Day one, it just came out of nowhere that was significantly worse, as we found out through the week, than we thought initially, even then.
Yeah.
There was still a hope that actually it was maybe just a strain, but it's a proper tear. And it's just about breaking it down, isn't it, into small chunks. Don't think of it as a big journey.
It's the line, not the time.
Yeah.
That's what Ben kept
He
on
remembers,
saying.
he remembers.
But when you sort of talked about it, Sam, you trained for it, how had the reality of it, how does it compare, do you think?
It doesn't compare at all. It feels like a dream and a slight nightmare. But yeah, it's all the training, you don't really know what you're training for almost, because I'm just doing some running and some biking and we'll just see what happens. It's nothing like it. You've got the team surrounding you. We filmed a doc, by the way, which is coming out actually this Friday.
It'll be on a Friday.
And so you've got a van in front of you the entire time with a camera sticking out the boot of the van, filming all your highs and lows. You've got, people all around you, people beeping their horns at you. You can't really prepare for anything like that. And
it's quite overwhelming, isn't it?
It's really overwhelming, but in the most beautiful way. It brings so many people together, and I actually was just saying to Ben off air that you feel a bit flat afterwards almost, because you're like, you miss the entire team and you miss that bubble almost.
The connection.
Yeah, there's so much connection.
And I think that's the thing, it just moves people. Every time someone new turned up, from Ben to your brother-in-law to like Pete, when you guys got together, and then we had Orlando in the studio. He sent you that message, and then we had to call him makeup, didn't we, to dry all his tears, because he was like, he's such a good man, he's such a... I mean, to have that level of support must have been amazing.
This sounds so cringy, but I really do mean this. I think it just shows the power of friendship. Because, I honestly, wholeheartedly believe in this, that I'm quite like a glass person. Like I'm not actually not the strongest person, as we've seen, but I'm the luckiest person to have the support network around me. I didn't complete this. Everyone around me completed it for me. Like everybody, like showing up, from my family to my friends and stuff, was the only thing that got me through it. And I'm really, really fortunate.
There was an amazing team on the road with you as well.
Yeah.
They were there all the step away. Like, few of us drafted in and out, but there was an amazing team, wasn't there?
It was so great, man. Gary, the physio, was such a good
kept
guy.
you together. You got Taylor, the running coach. Tracy was on the bike with you.
Tracy is the most just empathetic but strong-willed person I think I've ever met. And then the UNICEF team as well, like remembering why you're doing it and like always reminding myself like who is out there and who we're trying to help and the donations.
Mate, one of the things that we loved were all the surprises that you kept getting. So we've got a little surprise for you today.
Oh God, no more surprises.
Because she's come in to see you, especially to celebrate.
Yes!
Let you do this on your.
No, you're going to cry again.
I'm so sorry.
Tracy, have a sit down, have a sit down. This is Tracy, who was every pedal step alongside Sam on the route. What was it like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, what a guy to do a challenge with, you know? I mean, he just literally gave his all from start, oh, bless him, from start to finish. I mean, you couldn't ask for more from you.
No, Trace is a machine.
Yeah.
Do you know, there was a moment on Thursday where I didn't speak to Tracy for over an hour because I had gone really, really dark. And Trace just turns to me and goes, whatever you're channeling right now, keep doing it. I'm not going to speak to you for an hour. And we just put our head down we cycled together.
In silence.
In silence for over an hour, and I just burst into tears at the end of it and hugged Tracy, and it was just such a magical experience.
It really was, wasn't it? And it was so emotional because, like, every time that sort of like there was quiet, I thought, should I be worried because he's quiet? Obviously, sort of like, you know, concentration on the main road, and you just literally, I thought, no, he's got this.
You've got to chew the miles sometimes.
Yeah,
You've got to get them under your belt. But that second day, though, Tracy, have you ever cycled in rain like that?
Oh, my God, it was apocalyptic. Like, literally, I mean, you could not see. We were trying to talk. My lips were numb. You just stood there, and I thought, oh, my God, could we actually get any worse? And it was awful. I mean, we had to stop because it was too dangerous.
It was too dangerous. That's the point. Even the weather was conspiring against you. Despite all of those things, you did it. Thank you, Tracy, for being there with him, lockstep, and keeping him going.
Yeah,
Thank you to all the team, as you say, to Gary, the physio, who somehow put you back together every day, Taylor, who was running with you.
Yeah.
It's just, we're so proud of you, Sam.
Thank you so much for everyone who donated as well. I mean, my God, every single time we got those donations sort of run through, it was just
another boost up, wasn't it?
It was such a boost, and it was just so beautiful. So thank you, anybody who donated. You literally are the heroes to the story.
And you can still keep donating
Yes, you can.
now. Donating to Sam's Matchball mission is simple.
Yeah, to give 20, 30 or £10, just text 30, 20 or 10 to 70822. Text costs you a donation plus one standard rate message.
You must be 16 or over and please ask the bill payer's permission.
You can donate online. The websites are shown on screen. 100% of your donation will go to UNICEF. Every donation we doubled up to £5 million thanks to the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, which is amazing.
Soccer Aid for UNICEF 2025 airs live Sunday, the 15th of June, 6 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX.
And you can see Sam's documentary, Sam Thompson's Matchball Mission, on Friday at 9 o'clock, ITV1 and ITVX.
Yes,
I had to tell him about it. I had to tell him about it. Good, so proud of you, mate. Well done.
I'm so grateful.
Hero.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Tracy, for all your
Thank
Oh,
you
hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.